So yo, what's good, everybody, and welcome back to Bridge the Gap. This is the show where we basically take super smart and talented and amazing people and like super amazing people like Dama that we have over here, and we have conversations with them, and we walk through their life, and we learn, and we extract the knowledge nuggets of their existence, and we all kind of learn and grow together with the whole situation. My name is Holden Stephan Roy. I'm bad at remembering to say my own name, so just happy to have you here, Dama. Honestly, for reals. And unlike most of them, we just want to say an extra special like thank you and start maybe with a bit of acknowledgement that you have probably had not the simplest week, because Dama is down in Texas right now and is here doing this interview in spite of everything that's maybe gone on and stuff. I think it's pretty remarkable and incredible that you would even prioritize doing this in a time like this instead of anything else you could be up to or getting to. So to me, it speaks so much to your character and the kind of person that you are, and so it makes me really appreciative that you're here in spite of the week that you've had and etc.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. We actually got power back yesterday, so we had yesterday to kind of, decompress and rest. So, we still don't have like our hot water or internet. I'm using hotspot right now, but it's back to business, and I figured now would be a better time to do this too, so I could kind of share some of the resources with other people who maybe want to like look into if they're interested in helping out, or if they're out here and they're watching right now, places where they can go for some resources, because a lot of people are here without water still, and without any water. And any power and stuff, including in our own apartment complex. So yeah, so I definitely wanted to just do this and talk about the music and myself as well. There's definitely some selfish shit going on my part as well, but I'm definitely trying to spread some awareness.
That's dope. We thought it might be like a more interesting place to start this time in light of the typical questions, just because of, I think it's really important, and if people are going to watch this in the future, this is probably the part that they're going to catch before they, get deep into it. So I don't
Hmm.
know what you want to share about that or what people can do to help or what's going on, but that would be really interesting and insightful and useful.
Well, I would say that there's a bunch of grassroots organizations going on in both Austin and Dallas. I'll share the Dallas one first. Latinx Dallas, Feed the People Dallas, all on Instagram, and Funky Town Fridge are all giving out water and food and different relief efforts. And in Austin, I would suggest that anybody that's in Austin to look at When Where What Austin on Instagram, because they have compiled a whole list, spreadsheet of what's open, warming centers, places that are giving out free food, and places that are open to just sell food. Um, and there's a couple of grassroots efforts by hold on, sorry, Shaka, Shaka Select, ChakaSeelect, um, that are doing a bunch of stuff out here in Austin and bringing food and water to people. And there's a couple of other people too, certified and Dominican J, that have been like driving around and getting people that have like four-wheel drive trucks and kind of just bringing water to people and milk to people with babies, and just basically, and it's all on Facebook. So you tag somebody that needs help, or if you have like a elderly relative or something like that that's in their home that can't go anywhere, they'll make a big effort to deliver to you all over the Austin area. So I'm very happy that these efforts have been going on. And also to go on FEMA and fill out that application to try and get your any type of bread that you could get to make up for this loss, because I know a lot of people have lost stuff in their homes, the food in their fridge, the week's worth of work, the damage to their apartment. So just looking for help.
Right. It's serious though. I mean, were you badly impacted by it? I don't know to what extent that you went through this week.
Well, Sunday night at 2 in the morning, we lost power, and I started looking it up, like what's going on, and I saw that it was supposed to be rolling outages, where like they take certain areas and take the power out for like 40 minutes to try to conserve power, which was a stupid thing to do during a blizzard. It was a crazy blizzard that night, and they couldn't bring the power back up, so it wasn't a rolling outage, and a lot of like I think it was 4 million people in Texas that lost power that night, and some other people lost power either the next day or the day after that. So we've been without power since Sunday night, and that first day we built that first Monday we built a fort, and we set up candles under a can of soup, and heated up the can of soup using candles. And then the next day, a couple of our friends hit us up that are all in the area that are also impacted. And we were like, just come over here. Like, let's all kind of rough this out together. And Craig went and got a shopping cart from up the street, just some abandoned shopping cart, brought it here to our patio. And we brought like firewood and lit that bitch on fire. And then we were cooking. And we were lucky because our apartment complex also has propane gas lines to the grills. So we were able to grill during the day, but like at night, it's really cold. So it was good to have that firewood and the shopping cart. So we made a really nice meal out of that. So it was all about just kind of figuring out how to eat, how to make sure the dogs were okay, because we have a really small dog, and my friend has a dog as well. So we kind of had to, look out for the dogs. And, our friends was here, and we were just making it work.
Mm-hmm.
But then on Wednesday, most of our friends like went home by then, and they went home and they got some power, some water, something like that, and then we were still in the dark. So I was like depressed because it's just so it's like parts of the day that feel okay, but then other parts feel terrible. And I have asthma, so my asthma was acting up all week. Like my breath is just starting to get back to like a good place. And so it was really stressful, and seeing the lack of accountability on the electric company from Austin Energy to ERCOT, who is like I guess, who manage the whole electric grid of Texas, basically like telling us nothing over and over again. And like I'm looking on Twitter and I'm seeing all these different zip codes and all these different people impacted, and the kind of stories that they were sharing. And it really like, because we're young and able-bodied, and you know what I'm saying, like super survivors. Like, we made it happen. Me and Craig have both been through a lot of different natural disaster situations. I was in Zone A, living in Brighton Beach during Hurricane Sandy. So, this isn't my first time, playing cards by candlelight and, you know, getting through some kind of natural disaster situation. But during Hurricane Sandy, the hurricane itself was one day. The power outage was, a week or two, depending on where you were and what kind of place you lived in. But we kind of escaped and, went to another part of Brooklyn during that time. But this time we was just like here in the thick of it. So
Mm.
it's been pretty hectic, but I'm really grateful. I'm just so grateful that the power is back on and we're able to, live and breathe again.
Yeah, it's crazy. It reminds me honestly of the ice storm that Montreal got in '98, where basically it
Oh
was
yeah.
like 2 weeks of it was extreme weather, power got clipped for whatever reason, and then 2 weeks of like no power. I was young, I was barely impacted. I got bounced around to people that had like heating, night, whatever. So I know my parents went through the same experience that you went through. I did
Oh
not
wow.
so much, but definitely a lot of people in Montreal had that, and so it really reminded, because I saw some videos of like the ice on the streets and just the general vibe of what it looked like, and I'm like, yo, that reminds me of '98 Montreal. So it's like really, what's really interesting is that it's Texas that this happened in, just on like a whole other level, because you're just not like expecting it there. But I definitely kind of
Yeah, nobody here is like prepared. they don't salt the streets, they don't plow the streets, so it was like impossible to drive. It's like they're not like everybody keeps saying like the infrastructure is not prepared for this type of situation. So it's been hectic. People have died and stuff. Like people died in fires or from carbon monoxide
Yeah.
inhalation because they're like lighting fires in their house and stuff, and it's just like so sad, so fucked up.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of those things where like you just watch it from afar all week and just kind of like hope. But I really do like the fact that you shared the ways that people can get involved and help, and if people do know that. So I think that was super cool of you to do that and to be so informed and to be so active with it. And I've seen you sharing stuff throughout the week too, so like that's really cool of you. I'm not sure what else to say on this vibe, but because it's all like super serious and stuff. I don't know if you have
Yeah,
more
I'm
you
just
want to
praying
add.
for the people, man. I'm just praying for the people, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I just hope this ends like ASAP.
Mm.
But the weather's about to get nice again. It's about to be like 70 degrees in a couple of days, or this weekend, or some day today, tomorrow, whatever. One of these days. I feel like I had brain cells freeze off because I'm like I got some like early onset dementia, like I'm forgetting words and shit. So just bear with me, but
Yo,
yeah, I'm just
you're
praying for everybody.
just like, I'm sitting there going, yo, Dama's just the coolest person I know right now. Yo, because like
Thank
you're
you.
sitting there like, yo, listen, I'm out here grinding in the fucking woods, and I felt like the woods the way you described it, with the garbage cans burning. I'm just picturing how I read your thing. I put a whole visual in my head to it. But yo, bump my shit,
Mhm.
make sure it gets those numbers up. I'm like, Dama's just like fucking serious with it. Also, congratulations on the amazing new song. That's an
Thank you.
amazing song.
Thank
That's an
you.
amazing music video. That's an amazing
Thank
sonic
you.
experience. You're just fucking beyond gifted. We did spend a whole bunch of time listening to your music before this, like as a group, on the Twitch.
Nice.
And yo, honestly, I'm sitting there going, 2010 Dama raps better than me today. That's what it felt like listening to you. I'm like, yo, she's so fucking good.
Don't feel bad. You're not alone. Yeah, like Dama's been a better performer, artist, rapper
Yo,
than probably like 95% of the people in New York City underground scene.
it's just
Like
facts.
Dama's a perfect example of why you shouldn't put female before rapper. Like
Dama, you're just
there's no it's
I
just
would just
rapper,
like,
bro.
I use artist because it
Thank
feels
you.
like it transcends. I like, you just feel like you got a whole personality. There's also at least one punk song, so like I'm just saying, or it felt punky.
I
Uh,
used to have a band for like a second.
that was possibly my favorite
But yeah,
track on there, but that's just my new metal biases kicking in. But I do want to ask you my
nice.
token first question because it is like token at this point, and I like asking it. It's a bit of a story. Um, when it all like lands up, you can answer it. It'll take a, it is what it is. But it all starts with my girlfriend washing the dishes, listening to the Black Eyed Peas track that I got a feeling, ooh,
Mhm.
and then she's dancing around and shit, and she's fucking vibing to it. And I realized, yo, once upon a time we were in like the bars and the clubs and shit, dancing to this very song, drunk as fuck at 2 a.m. in a circle. I just remember we were in circles every time this one came on. And then I realized it's kind of funny, right? Because that shit was club music, like the club music of the time, and now it's like dishes, chores, exercise music, right? That's kind of what it is.
Mhm.
Um, and then that got me going. So wait a second, all these club bangers of today and shit, that's just like the future chores music and shit, which kind of made me giggle a little bit. But it also like brought me back to being like super young, like 5 years old and shit. And my dad's got the super tape player set up and shit, and he's busting out his Led
Mhm.
Zeppelins and shit. And then my mom's got discos and stuff running on her tapes. And I realized that, yo, when we think about like the musical journey of an artist, it really doesn't start when like they're in control of the wheel, so to speak. It kind of like starts a little bit earlier than that, like when you're like super duper young and like everyone else is controlling the vinyls or the tapes or the whatever's around you and the sounds of your life when you're young. So like
Mhm.
what I'm hoping is you can kind of walk us through the landscapes of what it's like to be Damo when you're like 5, what your parents or whoever around was listening to, what kind of tech was, what the vibe was when you were like so young that you had no control over it.
Um, My father, Edward, was a jazz musician. He was a drummer, guitar player, really great piano player and singer. And before they came here from the Soviet Union, he was in a jazz band in Russia. So when I was growing up in Brooklyn, they had vinyl and cassette players, and my dad listened to a lot of jazz and a lot of disco, a lot of blues. Just a lot of Diana Ross and Louis Armstrong, like those are just, and then like ABBA, like it was. My dad had a very eclectic taste, so and he played the piano. And we had a piano in the house, and I knew that my parents was getting twisted when the piano came on, and you know what I'm saying? Like they started singing songs and everybody's in the house drunk. And I used to hate it when I was little. I used to hate it so much because it just meant that the parents are drunk and no longer like capable of, being active parents. But as I get older, I'm like, we're gonna be those parents that when the beats come on and we start freestyling, you know what I'm saying? Like that's when our kids know that we're getting lit. So yeah, there was a lot of different types of music in the house. And I found like a trunk, like a luggage of like a suitcase
Right.
of my dad's cassettes, and it was like Michael Jackson and just a bunch, like every genre. And then there was one Young MC Bust a Move, the cassette, uh with the B-side on the back. I don't remember that song as well, but I remember hearing like that was the first rap song I ever heard. And like I was on my cassette tape and I was in my building and I was playing it for friends in my building, like, so yeah, I was exposed to nothing but music growing up. There was definitely nothing but music in my house.
And when you were little, was it like you wanted to be in that, or was it more like you were a fan of it at that time? Were you into the dancing? Were you on a lot of? I've noticed a lot of people were like, "Yo, the truth is, growing up in New York when I was young, it's like I just had to dance." It's something I've heard a lot talking to people from this part of the world. So I'm wondering if you share in that experience as well.
Yeah, my dad gave me a microphone. When I was little, my dad had his musician friend come and test my pitch. So just to see if I had good pitch. Like he was like, "Does she have musical talent?" Like when I was like 3 or 5, I don't even remember this. My mom told me years later that he had like his musician friend come in and test my pitch, and he told him that I had good pitch and capabilities. So after that, my dad started putting a microphone in my hand, and it was connected to like the vinyl and like the whole. He had this whole stereo system, uh, and I would sing all the time. So I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be like Mariah Carey, my whole life. And but when as I got older and I got, when I was like 11 or 12, I was really into punk rock for a second, and I got into like a punk rock band and tried to play the drums. Uh, but then I like started rapping with friends, and I wasn't good, but it's something that I like to do. And I wasn't good, but I felt like I could be. Like I felt like I knew what good was,
Mm.
and I always could write poetry. I always wrote
And
songs.
you're
Like
like
I would
12,
write,
by the way, right? You're still like 12 in this part of your life.
yeah, like 11, 12. I
Can we
was
just like stop for a second and say that by 12 years old, you've already started practicing to perform and singing and doing a bunch of shit at home with real life experience? Because, yo, when we look at how Dama's crushing me like 10 years ago, it's like, oh, this makes a lot more sense now. Because Dama's got like 50,000 hours of practice where a lot of us might only have 10 these days. Because, yo, think about that shit. You're already in a band by the time you're 12 or whatever. Already, like, decided, okay, I'm in the drums. Already decided you're a rapper. All right, that's a lot of alreadys before
Already
yeah,
you.
I
got a
mean,
pitch check. Got a pitch check at 3, man.
Like,
bruh,
yo,
bruh.
this is remarkable. You are truly remarkable, Dama.
thank you. I wasn't rapping yet at I wasn't rapping yet at 12. I was like writing poetry a little bit, and like writing songs and like turning like my angsty kind of songs into poetry. It was a little bit later that I started actually like rapping, probably maybe like
I'm gonna
13,
just say that
14.
writing poetry at 12 is in the same ballpark of impressive and cool as rapping at 12.
Thank you. I used to submit my like dark poetry, and I think like like to get it like published and shit like that. But like I was a real like I started around that time is when I started really being in the streets more. So
Oh, can we pause for a second and ask a really crucial question? I forget. Where are you from?
yeah, Brooklyn, Brighton Beach.
So when you're saying in the streets, you mean literally the streets of Brooklyn?
Yes,
Like
yeah.
the literal Brooklyn?
Also, we should get a
Brighton
little bit
Beach,
of
Coney Island.
clarification on your parents' background, right? Because
Yeah.
we just sprung up on them that they came from Russia. So so both your parents are from
Yeah.
Russia?
Yes.
Let's clarify.
Both
Good catch, Flacco Bayo.
Yes. Both my parents are Russian. They're both from St. Petersburg. My mother has Jewish in her family as well, so like Russian Jewish. Um, and my dad was straight up Russian. So they came here from the Soviet Union like on some escape shit. Like they had to go through like Austria and Italy and like do all types of finagling in order to get out of the Soviet Union and come to America. And they ended up like my mom lived in Astoria and she lived in Coney Island on 33rd Street. And like my dad lived all over too, and then they moved in together in Brighton Beach. But she followed him. It's a very romantic story. They met, and he told her, he's like, I'm leaving Russia and I'm going to America. Like, fuck this whole shit. And she was like, I don't really want to go, but okay, fine. Because she didn't really know a life outside of that, But she followed him all the way to the States, to a whole new world. Didn't know when she was gonna see her family again. So yeah, I always thought it was a romantic story.
It
And
is.
yeah, and she's an actress, so she kind of like gave that up for a long time to, work and stuff because they had to like, really grind it out here. They didn't speak the language. It was tough, but they made it, and then I was born in Brighton Beach, and I went to school in Brighton Beach and Coney Island. So I was like 1 foot here, 1 foot there half the time, and
Yeah, that's fucking cool. I mean, it's always cool when people talk about New York places. I'm used to Bronx now because Flacco talks about Bronx so much. I'm a little desensitized. But then you said Coney Island, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a New York place too.
yeah, very much so. Very much so. I used to spend time in the Bronx. I mean, we could take our time getting there, but I spent a lot of time in the Bronx as well. I was like one of the only people in my neighborhood that even really knew, you know what I'm saying, like to go to the Bronx. Like that wasn't something that Brooklyn people and Bronx people usually don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like
No, I don't know what you're
don't
saying.
go to each other's boroughs. Like we'll both go to the city. We'll both go to Manhattan. But we don't really go to each other's boroughs like
No,
that.
hold up.
But
Facts. You know what?
I think we should
think Holden
expand
was
on
about to
that.
say what I was gonna say, which is like, you know what? I think this is a bridging the gap moment, right?
Yeah.
Like this is here. It's natural. It's right in front of us. We can segue to a quick little blurb. Hopefully, we can keep it within a few minutes of
We can keep it as long as you want.
this thing, right, that we have in New York City, which I talked about on my
Yeah.
Facebook plenty.
No, but because
and Damo was participating in it about the fact that Brooklyn people don't come uptown very much. And I was thinking about it because I'm gonna be very candid, right? I was thinking about it in particular, Damo, this status that I wrote that you participated in, where we talked about how there's Brooklyn people are missing out on something in the Bronx. I was thinking about the fact that I met this woman in the Bronx that I was like, yo, Cabin would fall in love with this woman and do anything for this woman. But he's never going to meet this woman because he doesn't come uptown. Simple as that. Where it's just like, yo, you're missing out on the love of your life. It's right here within your city.
Right here in the Bronx.
right here in the
No, but like
Bronx.
even to go bigger than that, right? Like, so we listen to a lot of music, and you have these little skits, like the one on the DMX album, where like the Pac-Man skit, where he's just literally, it's about like being from different neighborhoods, and we can tell you're not from here, this, that, and then I found out there's fashion trends for each of the different areas, so you can actually look at somebody
Slang as well.
and literally know that they're not from your place. So now you're saying to me that it's like you guys don't even like, you know, like we don't know, like I'm in Montreal my whole life. I've never been to New York City. So like when you said, you know what I mean there, I was like, no, I have no fucking, as like a first, like I did not know that people from Bronx and Brooklyn don't commingle like that. I don't even know how deep that goes, but then y'all will commingle over here, but not commingle. Like that's some nifty shit that I've never heard in my life.
Yeah, when we leave New York City, we'll team up. But in New
Yes.
York City, like it's kind of like, I'm pretty sure, Holden, that there's people that you know in Montreal that they don't leave their general area much at all.
It's so weird because I
Right?
feel like I don't know anybody like that because the city's like an hour in all directions to everything, and you end up just always like, I mean, there might be
Okay.
sides of life like that, but that's the thing I think is very different about
Yeah.
Montreal to things like LA was another one where I learned it's kind of like that. And I'm like, wait a second, that's like I had to really process it and realize it's a completely different existence than the way that I can like literally cycle pretty much anywhere in Montreal in under an hour. And it's like
Yeah.
it was so
New York
compact.
City is the same way, right? You could, like that's why we have the New York City Marathon. It touches on all 5 boroughs. So you could easily, take a walk into from one borough to another. But there are literally people, and Dama could testify to this, that they're born, they live, die in their borough, and they, for the most part, don't leave their borough,
Their neighborhood.
their neighborhood.
Especially the deeper you go, you know what I'm saying? So I'm from, Brighton Beach, Coney Island area, which is the very, very bottom of Brooklyn. It's the last stop on every single train. It's the deepest part of Brooklyn. There is no deeper part of Brooklyn. Deeper than that, and you're in the water. So, I used to go, like, people in my neighborhood, we sometimes would be able to get the whole crew out to go to the city to like go to a club or go to a show that we was doing or whatever, but it was rare. For the most part, like they like, yo, I'll see you when y'all get back. You know what I'm saying? Like we be right here, getting money or whatever. So, I was never that type of person. I was venturing out into the East Village when I was like 12, 13, going to like Astor Place and all those places. And then, it's like a gift and a curse, you know what I'm saying? Because I was in the system when I was young, like when I was like 14, 15, I was in like group homes and detention centers and stuff in Westchester, with like close to the Bronx, like, Yonkers, White Plains, a few stops on the Metro North from the Bronx. And everybody in that group home was either from the Bronx or Yonkers. And I ended up meeting some dope people that I'm still mad close with, mad cool with. One of them actually gave me my name, Dama Nils, when I was 17. And I first started rapping. He got me into my first studios. Like my first songs were recorded in the Bronx ever. Like first time my voice on wax was recorded in the Bronx, and not just anywhere in the Bronx, 238th and White Plains Road, which is like the one of the top, you know what I'm saying? Like up there.
So we
it's
could,
like I went from the last stop
Actually,
in Brooklyn to like one of the last stops in the Bronx.
Yeah, I was gonna say you went from one furthest most point in the borough to the other furthest most point in the borough. Like that is like the tippity top of the Bronx. You're essentially not, well, you're stone's throw from Yonkers and Westchester and all of the upper parts that New Yorkers tend to call upstate, which is just like, that's really not upstate, bro.
No, Yonkers
but
is
New
not
Yorkers,
upstate.
this is how New Yorkers are. These are key
fair.
little things
and
we're trying to bridge the gap of
it's been
information
brought
for
to
you
my
here.
attention that just because I'm unaware of these people, there are certainly people in Montreal that fit this definition. Cool Man Logan is like, bro, I LaSalle, look at that name. And I'm like, okay, I can see how that place has people that never leave that area, because there are certain pockets that maybe you just don't have to ever leave because it just has everything and it's kind of like a box. Whereas where I live is pretty interconnected to shit, so I'm encouraged to go places.
Facts, Baxter. Baxter said New Yorkers are like, if you can't get there on a train, that's why Staten Island, like New Yorkers, we joke that Staten Island isn't really one of the 5 boroughs and it's not part of New York City because you got to grab the ferry there. There's no way to get there except vehicle or boat. And then soon as you make that impasse,
that's funny. I like Baxter's reaction with a boat.
People can't just go pay, back in the days it would have been a token. Nowadays, a few years ago, it would have been a Metro card. Nowadays, it might be a swipe of your credit card. But the point is, if you can't just swipe and get on the Metro, we don't call it the Metro, by the way. I don't know why I call it that.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you were. I was
Montreal in for a hot minute.
I was sitting there going, I'm not correcting anyone. This never happens. I know it's a subway to you people, but let's roll with that Montreal shit.
It's just the train.
You call it the train? So it's not even the subway. You just
usually it's your line. So like I'm over by the 2 and the 5. So I'm just like, it's just the 2. You just call it by the train line that you're on, or the train, subway. Definitely not the Metro.
Yo, I definitely call that shit the Metro all the time. And there's
Sorry to interrupt, Dama. All these ladies want to say hello to you. They keep Dama. Kendra, come on. Yeah, they all want to say hi.
What up? Dama's warm. Hi, Dama.
They love the video in the new single, by the way.
I love that Dama got some electricity. I love that Dama's warm and shit. Dama's got warm.
What up, Miss B? How y'all doing?
Dama.
Kendra's in the background right here.
Glowing.
What up, Kendra? Love you, man.
Kick you punch you in the throat. Love you too.
Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Love y'all, man.
That was great. It's always fun to see the love thrown like that, in my opinion, because Dama, you're incredible and you deserve every second of it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's the fact.
Totally agree.
Yo, I've watched Dama bust off the domes that are ridiculous. I watched Dama host in ways that make other hosts look less fun as hosts because Dama's like the host you're hoping for. No offense, Baxter, I see you over there, but it's Dama.
Hey, me and Baxter are good co-hosts.
That's
man.
true.
He's the co-host with I don't think I've except for the beat challenge is the only thing I host by myself.
But
with Souls too. Souls is hosting now, but that's the only one that I hosted dolo for a minute. But yeah, I mostly host with Baxter.
You just it's a joy when Dama's there is what I'm saying. You come through with yo, I'm gonna come in with a swagger like I don't give a fuck, and we're all jealous that we can't give a fuck like you can't give a fuck. Like people can't give a fuck, like, you know what I'm saying, like to a degree of the level that you bring it to.
You know what the real thing is though? I do give a fuck. I give a fuck for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in order to have that I don't give a fuck energy, you have to have given many a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to that's what it really comes down to. I do care. I care a lot.
I know, and I believe that because I listen to your music and I've heard you speak, and then like you're very passionate, and it's true. But the energy is power, like power when Dama's in the room. But I do want to go back to like when you're 12, because that's about where we picked off when we did your tangent off, and which was an amazing tangent because people get knowledge nuggets, which is fucking delightful to me. They're throwing
we'll have more.
Flacco's throwing knowledge nuggets, throwing it down. I fucking love that guy. But let's go back to being 12 and you're being a superstar already, because again, you're very impressive at 12. Are you actually performing or doing talent shows or shit?
Hell no. I did a talent show when I was like 9 or some shit, but I was not very impressive at that age. You know what I'm saying? I was very rebellious. I was not popular in school. I was different. I dressed very different at that time. Like, you could ask any of my friends, like, they remember me having the green hair and my nose ring connected to my ear, and I was on my punk rock shit, and like dope, I had 2 bitches that kind of like was my little, you know what I'm saying, like my little road dogs or whatever that did what I did. But other than that, I was not.
You had road popular. Dogs. That's like cool though. Like, I mean, it's not cool, but like in the sphere of that world, I would have been the road dog, whereas you had road dogs. So there's still elevation in that shit, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I fought a lot. I was, you know what I'm saying? Like I had been bullied a little bit for sure. I had been in definite scuffles.
You know, just to
Hold on, it froze. Just I don't know if that meant
yeah, I
noise or
know.
froze.
I already knew I was trying to. That's what I
Alright.
was trying to do. I was trying to play it off. Play off the
I'm
play
like,
off the jumble. You know, to be fair, you know, I think that everybody in New York City got bullied because that's just New York City. Like that's New York fucking city, baby. Like even the bullies got bullied, which is why they bullied.
right,
FYI. All right, hurt people hurt people. It's not just a cliche. You know,
right.
it's the dead truth. I remember one of my bullies, by the way. Um, uh, uh, his he was always he was wild big. Like your man was brolic in elementary school, which is like I don't even understand that. Like why? What are you doing with muscles in the 3rd grade, bro? Like you don't even need those right now. Like what are you doing? None of
I
us are
was,
doing that.
I,
But you know why? You know why? It was because his dad used to show up after school and fuck him up in front of everybody. Like just for all sorts of whatever things that happen at school. But he used to beat him up like with his hands in like on school property, like in front of people. And that's a perfect like when I look back, like I didn't understand it as a little kid. Like looking back, it's like, well, of course you bullied me. Like your dad used to bully you in front of everybody. You know what I mean? Like he was mentally and physically abusing you in front of the people that were supposed to be essentially helping you, and those people just turned a blind eye. You know, so
I
bullying
definitely.
is a very New York City thing.
Yo,
And
I'm gonna
like
throw it out there and go. I don't know if
that
it's
doesn't
just New
take
York City. I totally went through my bullying in high school. Maybe I don't know to what extent it's all comparable, but I know a lot about getting bullied. That was certainly a thing that went on.
No, I mean that's the thing, right? But like in New York City, like I said, it's just everybody gets bullied, like in some form or fashion.
Like I'm
Like
like,
when you're in high
You
school
either
years,
like
no, like I'm saying, like everybody I know here got
jump in,
bullied
you
Damo. I
somewhere.
bully
was
or
just
you get
keeping it
bullied. You
warm for
know,
you.
there's no yo, yeah, thank you. I could see y'all a lot better now. I don't know if y'all could see me the same or
We
whatever,
see
but I
you
could
the
see
same,
everybody a lot clearer now.
and you sound great. So
Um, when I was in middle school and like elementary school, like I wasn't popular, and you know I bullied kids when I was like 5 or 6. Like I got into fights with boys, and then I was kind of neutral, and then I got bullied in middle school, and then high school is when I got really thuggish. You know, by high school I was already in the streets, and I was definitely like coming to school just to buy and sell weed, hang out in the girls' bathroom. Bitches in there were crazy, and I immediately was like, I'm getting with the most thorough bitches, and that's it. And at that point, like I was yoking bitches up, trying to rob them
what is yoking?
for
You
like
just said
dollars
some
and
slang
shit.
shit. I don't know what yoking means.
Like yoking, like when you grab them by the like collar throat, you know what I'm saying? Like yoke them up,
Okay, now
put
I
them
know
up
what you're
against the
saying.
wall.
You said, yo, man, Dami, you're serious. I like it.
Yeah. So, you know, but then I went to the group home where I was the only girl from Brooklyn. I was definitely like the only not black or Dominican person that was there. There was all black and Dominican girls. I think so that's it. That's it. There wasn't even no Puerto Ricans, like because I was used to like a lot of Puerto Ricans around, but there was no Puerto, it was just black and Dominican. And there was some times in the beginning that I definitely got bullied for sure. Bitches didn't even like how I talked. You know what I'm saying? But then then this girl, then the new wave of like the first 6 months was hard for me. It was hard for me. But then my bitches came. My homegirl Sean Ashley, who's still my bitch to this day, and this girl Shekinah, who was the first girl from Brooklyn. She came, she was from Bed-Stuy. And I was like, a Brooklyn bitch has come. I was like, oh yeah, you bitches. Yeah. And then after that, I like everything was good. Everything was good. And then I became part of a more elite circle, and like we were killing it in there. You know what I'm saying? And like them Yonkers bitches couldn't hang when there was like more of us. You know what I'm saying? So it was interesting. It was interesting. So yeah, fucking crazy times. So it's a cycle of like bullying, not bullying, to be able to get to a place of being comfortable in your own skin. Like, I guess like bullying or getting bullied, I don't know. We didn't even really consider it that. We just considered it like it's a jungle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's New York City. I was gonna say everything that you mentioned are all classic New York City things. One of which, by the way, I think is cool to talk about is I don't like you because of the way that you talk. I don't like you because of how you breathe. I don't like you because of how you exist. That's a very New York City thing. Like, where people are just like, you just walk by, you know what? They just like, I don't like that nigga. I don't have heard of it. And that's a very New York City thing.
It's very primal. It's very primal in the sense of like, who's like, it's something I didn't realize until later on when I started like learning about like energy and the kind of energy that you put out and shit like that, whatever, because, you know, growing up, it was just like, you don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you know is that you can't be pussy. Like, it's like, there is nothing, like, it's like whether, like, I got jumped before outside of Lincoln when I was like 12, outside of Lincoln High School. I was still in middle school when I was like 12 or 13 or something like that. I got jumped by like fucking like 8 kids, but I didn't go inside the store. I stayed outside and got my ass whooped. And the bitch I was with went inside the store. I just stayed outside because I was like, I'm not going to be pussy. Like, I'm going to be dead before I'm pussy. Like, it's stupid, but it's like the way we grow up is like, you just can't be pussy. It's like, it's so stupid, but it's just like what it is, you know? So yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up when you think about it, but it's like the worst thing you could be is pussy.
But it's like when we hear this kind of stuff, like for you, this is reality. This is just what it is. But for the rest of us, it's like this is probably why New York hip hop sounds like what it sounds like. And like when we correlate a lot of the stories and the experience, because we don't. I'm surrounded by a lot of middle class people who don't fully appreciate the lifestyle choices that get created by the environments that are there and the attitudes and things like what you're describing. They've never heard of it. They don't know it really exists. They don't see that side of New York. That side of New York is not really on TV for reals. It's like glamorized on TV. So like to me, honestly, I learned so much about what it is to be in New York City through these conversations. Not like I really know, but like at least the how hard it was or complicated or why certain things are like just it's baffling to me that the way somebody talks is a problem when I grew up with multiculturalism and being taught to praise people for their differences and to be inquisitive about people who speak different. Like that was literally part of my high school curriculums and shit.
Yeah, I mean, if we grew up very, like especially where I'm from, Brighton Beach, like there's definitely a lot of Russians, but there's a lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot of West Indians, a lot of Pakistani, Yemen, Asian, Filipino, especially. Like these are groups that I grew up with my whole life, like speaking each other's languages, eating each other's food. You know what I'm saying? They have food at my mom's house. I had food at their mom's house. And we understood I taught them how to curse in Russian. They taught me how to curse in Spanish, Arabic, any fucking language. And, it was like that kind of like, yo, what are you? Like, what's your, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you? Where you from? Like, where's your family from? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's regular. You know what I'm saying? Like, for sure. But it's also, when you go, like, there's all those things all exist simultaneously. It's simultaneously people hating you for what you are, or what you look like, or what you talk like, or what you walk like, and simultaneously people just existing with you and, appreciating your culture or whatever. But in New York City, the thing about it is the diversity is very interesting because, there's neighborhoods of whole people, right? So it's like there's Dominican neighborhoods, there's Colombian neighborhoods, Russian neighborhoods, Italian neighborhoods, Jamaican neighborhoods, African neighborhoods, So when it's a proximity prejudice as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas you go like down south in America, like the racism is like based on ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Like what you know about people through TV and not really growing up with different cultures. Even the questions about cultures, the curiosity is different. Whereas in New York, there's like like you grow up around people, so you like my whole life I've heard people say that they hate fucking Russians. My whole life. Like, and it's a regular thing. And I hated Brighton Beach Russians I didn't really connect with my own Russianness until I met my cousins from Russia that were completely different than any Brighton Beach Russians that I met, because a lot of Brighton Beach Russians was terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like, they sucked. Like, even walking in the street with them, behind them, whatever. It was like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? Like, rude and fucked up and whatever the case is. So, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to all my Russian Brighton Beach homies that, you know what I'm saying? But you know who I'm talking about when I'm even saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always like these fucking Russians, you know what I'm saying? So it's a weird feeling of like love, hate for cultures. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, but it's mad interesting because it is definitely different than the mainstream attitude in my city. That is a huge difference, I would say. We have different issues, but like it's certainly not like based on that. And so like you explain is, you know, especially the hip hop skits. People don't know how hard it is for me to understand what the fuck is going on the mid 90s hip hop skit. Like, it's just dudes having a conversation and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's happening here. And I bet all of y'all listen to it, and it's ROTFL City because you know what the fuck they're talking about. And so, like, hearing you describe stuff, it's mad helpful. It's really cool. And, like, thank you for just sharing that shit for real because it helps us all watching it. Like, we have Golden Jenny from Norway watching. That's like a person
that's what's up.
Norway getting enlightened on the nitty-gritties of New York City, but it helps us all get
I love Norway, man. I've been there a couple times. They show me mad love. Shout out to all the Norwegian homies, and shout out to Zeps for bringing me out there. But I love the Norwegian.
Shout out to Zeps. Big shouts to Zeps.
Yeah. That's my brother. We're gonna get to that because Zeps is, you know what I'm saying? Like, after John Frank, who's my Bronx homeboy, who put me on to everything, and you know what I'm saying, like got me in my first studio. Zeps is the person that put me on to all my first shows. Like, my first 5 years of doing shows was strictly Zeps. All my first tours, all my first.
We have a question, and my girlfriend's the asker, so I have to listen because she wants to know.
Yes, you do.
I do. Yeah, I know the rules. Do you speak Russian?
Yes, fluently, and I read and write it.
Yo, that's I read and write awesome.
I read and write like I'm an 8-year-old, but
that's mad cool.
A lot slower than I read and write in English, but
but yo, you know what? Real quick, as a fellow New Yorker, be proud. You know what I mean? Especially being born here. We're always caught in that dichotomy, right? Of the people from where you're from who speak it very fluently, looking at you like, you gotta get your shit together. Right, and then people out here being like, "What are you doing, you fucking Nazi? What language are you speaking? That's not English." You know what I mean? That's you know what we're caught between. So to speak another language at all, that's as nothing but extra money at a job, just another tool in life for you to communicate with people who are not from your background, that are from your background, you know? So be proud.
No, I am. And I'm thankful to my mother because while, I hated Russian class growing up and, she put me in Russian class after school. So I was going to school twice. And she made sure that I kept the language, even though all the parents in the neighborhood who are also former Soviet escaped people were all like, yo, you gotta assimilate. Nobody likes Russians out here. Don't speak Russian. You know what I'm saying? They didn't speak Russian to their kids. They didn't want their kids to learn Russian. And my mother was like, yo, eat a dick. My daughter is gonna speak Russian. Because they were like, she's gonna have an accent. She was like, bro, she was born here. She's never gonna have any accent except for whatever New York accent or whatever. But she's never gonna have a Russian accent. She wasn't born in Russia. Of course, she's like, you're gonna be in school, you're gonna be in New York, you're gonna You know what I'm saying? Talk to people out here. So obviously you're going to speak English, but are you going to speak Russian unless I fucking force it down your throat? No. So I'm grateful that she did.
You know what? I really
it's always
appreciate
weird when
that.
people find out that I'm Russian.
Honestly,
when they hear, like, usually they find out by hearing me talk to my mother. That's the way they find out that I'm Russian, by hearing me on the phone with my mom's.
I happen to work with a lot of Ukrainians through my day job. The second you said it, it explains so much. Like, it just was like, oh, that makes so much sense about her personality, how straight to the point you are. Like, I had to learn how to communicate effectively with Ukrainian culture, which is very similar to Russian culture as far as everything goes. It's the same languages and shit. So, yeah, it's cool. Strong people. That's the one thing I can tell you. Like, strong fucking people in the best possible ways. I love it, in my opinion. And you have, like,
I want to say, like, shouts out to your mom. This is like the second reason that everybody who knows you, has like a reason to thank her, right? Like, thank her for being like, no, like, I don't really need or want to leave Russia, but this guy, I'm gonna follow him and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then she got here and she had you, right? So like, thank her for that, because if she didn't have you, we wouldn't know you.
And if she didn't take the time to teach you that shit in your culture, I guess at a base level, who knows? Maybe you'd be a completely different person. But I know how complicated that language is. The level of discipline that it would take to actually have to learn about a third extra thing, like, you know, the he, she, they thing. I don't know. You know it better than me, I'm sure. But like, Russian is a hard language. But we had another.
It's not hard when you grow up speaking it in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's like super natural. It's completely, but it's easier because kids are like sponges, you know. If I had to learn it now, like, I was thinking about taking up like learning Arabic, and I was like, damn, like, it's a whole nother symbols system. It's a whole nother, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything is completely different.
Does that mean the Cyrillic shit is just simple for you? I think that's what it's called, the other alphabet for the Russian. When that's just like natural for you.
Yeah, sometimes it gets a little confusing. Like, I just started using it on text to text my mom in like the last year and shit. So sometimes it gets a little bit confusing because there's a lot of similar letters that look exactly the same but are a different sound. Like RH is English H is a Russian N.
Right.
So, you know, there's like those kinds of things that are like, you know, a little bit confusing, but yeah, it's definitely super like I read Russian for sure.
You know, you might think this is not interesting, but the chat lit up the second we started talking about this. This is a little bit why I posted.
Really?
I swear, people give a shit. Yo, the next question, because we're not even done. I have more questions on the subject of Russian in your life. So it is what it is.
Sick. Let's get it. I love it.
Because it's cool. You're bilingual. At least. Do you speak other, like, because I'm bilingual, so I appreciate that in another person, because it's not that often you talk, and you're bilingual in a whole other language, which makes it like extra fucking cool, right? But do you rap in Russian?
I actually just wrote my first in the MC challenge this past 2 weeks ago. My acapella round was my first verse that I wrote that's interchangeable in Russian and English. So it's my first like real Russian raps. And people have been telling me my whole rap career, like, yo, you should try rapping in Russian because you could speak it. But it's not that easy because I speak a very formal Russian. Like, I speak Russian to my mom, you know what I'm saying? So when I meet people from Russia that grew up speaking Russian slang, that I don't understand at all.
Yo, I relate so heavy. I do, because I go through this with the Quebec French side of hip hop. I'm learning slang in French on the fly. I have to like ask people like, yo, why is that funny? Like, what the, like, because it's all literal translations. I don't see the double entendres. I don't understand the humor. So I can't watch French comics because I just hear French people speaking with drama, and I'm like, I don't actually understand the jokes, which makes it really hard to write. Whereas in English, nuance is so much of this shit. So like, I really do appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah, the nuance is everything. When I listen to Russian rap, I just met my cousin Oxymiron. I met him in 2017. He's a really famous Russian rapper. I met him on Skype in 2014. We just found out about each other.
Your cousin's a famous Russian rapper?
Yes, my cousin Battle Disaster in LA. and it got like 1 million views in the first day, and that's when we met in 2017 in Los Angeles. But we only found out about each other. He's like my third or fourth cousin. We only found out about each other because my mother had dinner with his uncle, you know, when he came to New York, and he was like, "Oh, your daughter raps. My fucking nephew raps," and like da da da. And we found out about
What's
each
his
other
name?
on FaceTime. And what Oxymiron? It's like OXXXYMIRON.
If I'm not mistaken, as the resident, like, you know, battle rap expert and whatnot, that might be like Disaster's highest viewed battle, if I'm not mistaken. Like, you would think that because Disaster had so many huge moments, that it'd be something else, but like Oxymiron's, which, thank you. Now I know that that's how you pronounce it, right? So I'm gonna try to give it justice.
Yep.
But like now that, but he had such a huge fan base coming from Russia.
Yeah.
That if I'm not
From
mistaken,
Russia
when
to
you look,
LA, like Russia has, I mean, LA has never seen that many Russians. It's crazy.
But it kind of reminds me of, if we go back. So if we think about that wrestling tip that we've been making that connection lately with hip hop, wrestling promotions do this shit all the time with the international. Like the WWE been friends with Japan for a minute because that shit fucking gets way more views when they have like, yo, when the championship moves across the fucking continent, you know, like that shit's huge. Yeah. That's to me, that's like dope.
It's the reason that the World Cup is like probably like the biggest event globally, you know, because everybody in the globe is involved. So everybody's like they're right. Once your country's involved, now you're involved, and your feelings are involved, and now you care. And now that you care, you're gonna tune in, and those numbers are gonna dwarf any other numbers that are out there.
Yeah, that's mad interesting.
Yeah, Oxy was like getting like just off of Russia was getting millions of views on anything he did, just off the strength that like Russia finally felt like they had like their own. You know, he started his own league and everything like that. So.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. I appreciate you sharing all of this, Dama. I know it's disjointed, but usually the experience is disjointed, but the people fucking like that because it's fun. It feels more natural. This is like what it would be like to hang out with the Dama in person.
And fact check, like I'm just also here to do that. Googled it, YouTubed it real quick. Disaster versus view count, the highest battle, his 14 million views. Why? Because the audience that he brought from Russia. And no battle that Disaster did, no matter how big the opponent, Cassidy, who people like viewed like this has got to be the biggest thing in battle rap history. Like a professional rapper comes and battles with one of the battle rappers, like and does pretty okay. Like that, you would think that that'd be his highest view battle, but it's not. It's the Oxymiron battle because of the Russian audience.
All right. Let's bring it back to like then high school and shit. Were you actually doing that battle in the high schools? Were you doing any rap stuff? Were you like involved in anything at that point, or was it still like poetry?
No, by the time I got to high school, I was like rapping for sure. I was like freestyling with friends. I was like doing like regular lunchroom battling, you know what I'm saying? Like your shoes are ugly, whatever. And just rapping. I had this friend who lived in the building next to Lincoln that had like Fruity Loops and like a recording situation kind of. And like I recorded like a little freestyle, whatever. But all my homies back then that like we would cut school. Like I never went to school when I went to Lincoln. I never went to class, right? You know what I'm saying? So I was just on some hustling shit. So we would cut school and like go to the boardwalk or the beach and we would freestyle. And my homies would be like, yo, don't quit your day job, you know? Which definitely lit a fire under my ass to be like, yo, I'm about to be mad nice for no reason. Like I'm about to just be mad nice. But then when I went up to the group home and I had a CD player. Before I left, I went to my homie's cribs that had like CD burners and I burned Nas, Mobb Deep, Biggie, Cameron, like every rapper that I wanted to listen to. I'm like, I need a soundtrack I need music to like get me through this time, you know? So I was listening to mad Nas and Mobb Deep specifically. And I started writing rhymes in a way that I was like thinking, I was like, would Nas rap this? would Nas like this? Like, is this something Nas would say? Because at that point I started getting to a like place where I'm trying to look at my raps objectively as somebody that now has been really like listening and studying it for a long enough time to know the difference between whack or good. And I wanted to be really good. So that was kind of like my point of reference, was like, is this something, like I was really heavily influenced by Nas at that time. So and like but before that, because that was like group home era, because it's like a lot of like thinking and reflecting. It's like when people go away to jail and they start reading the Quran and the Bible and shit like that. Like that was like my Bible, was listening to Nas. Before that, it was like in freestyle in the streets, I was like into like Biggie and 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? Like their posthumous collab was like, you know what I'm saying, on repeat all the time. But you know, then I went and started kind of like making my pen a little bit more like, let me talk some real shit, you know? So yeah, that's what I was doing then. That's when I was like 15, something like that, turning 16. And then when I came home, I was immediately like, I hit up my homie John Frank, who I met in the system. He was in like the boys detention thing, and while I was in the girls, and they would take us to like basketball games or like whatever, rec. So that was my bro. And then I went to a different high school now. So I went to Brooklyn Studio. So I went to a total of like 3 high schools. So yeah, I came back and I immediately was like, yo, let me start recording. You know, I didn't get really nice for a while, but every rapper that really wants to get nice, like objectively nice, has a point where they knew that they broke the threshold. You know, like I needed to be nice. Like I felt like it was something that I was good at, that I could do. But you know, when I recorded those tracks in the Bronx and I took them home to my peoples and I showed them to like Eternal and MGs and, you know what I'm saying, Ken Boogs and all of them, it was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, yeah, but you need to work on your flow. You need to tighten up your flow. So I'm like, I haven't tightened up my flow. I was listening to a lot of AZ at that time, and I wrote a verse to the More Money, More Murder, More Homicide beat. And that was the verse that broke through. When I wrote that verse, that was the first time I got that feeling of like, holy shit, like now this AZ would spit this. You know what I'm saying? And it's like still a verse that I could pull out the ass. Like I pulled it out the ass.
I love what you're doing with the way you're like, I love the standard you created. I've not heard a single person say this now, and I've talked to maybe 50, 60 people, so maybe it's not the hugest number, but so when something that new comes out, it's fucking cool for me. The standard threshold, I think if a lot of us thought about that standard, like, and it's really a cool way to adopt new styles and to flip up your shit. If the person I'm clearly emulating, because the people, okay, so there's that group of people who refuse to listen to music when they write their shit. I don't know how the fuck they do it, but a lot of other people listen to music and are clearly emulating stuff as they go and learning from other styles and evolving like that. But would the person that I care about spit that shit that I wrote? That's a beautiful fucking way to elevate your game. Like if you're trying to like make tips for how to be a better rapper on YouTube type shit, that's a go viral level tip. That's dope. That's a knowledge nugget.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, for me, it was like about trying to be as objective as I can, because I didn't want to be delusional. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to be good, and I wanted to like do this for real. Like I always wanted to be a music artist. And there was parts of my life where I didn't think of that as a dream anymore. Like when I was in the group home, I wanted to go to business school. And I wanted to like open up a club. Like that was like my dream then, or like start a business, like be a business person. Which I still, you know, I have a business now. So it's like I am that, but I always wanted to be a music maker, songwriter, performer. That feeling that like I got the first times that I performed, you know, even though I was holding the mic fucked up and cupping it all crazy and had terrible breath control, you know, when I could get the verse out and whatever, that response from people, that look, that energy exchange, like once I felt that, they were just like, ever since then, there's never been a time when that wasn't the thing that I did, you know? So I wanted to be objectively good at like being a lyricist. Like I needed to be respected. My homeboys that I used to like hustle with, we was in the streets. We was in elevator shafts, like smoking blunts, like rolling up, whatever. We used to break into houses just to smoke weed in the wintertime. Like we would fucking empty out Dutch guts into unfinished walls and shit. And I would be like, yo, check out this verse. Like this is before that breakthrough verse, but or even after, actually, like during that whole time period, I'd be like, yo, check out this verse. And my homeboy would be like, yeah, that's cool. You ever heard of Big L? And he'll like start playing Big L. Like give me no type of props or nothing like that on anything I did, and show me Big L. So I knew that like the people around me, everybody around me had such a high standard for what was good at rapping, and had no issue with, even if they rapped themselves or didn't, whatever, had no area about telling you that you shouldn't be rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like they never like looked at it as like whatever. They weren't music makers. Music wasn't their life. There wasn't no like, let me encourage other artists. It was like, nah, bro, I'm not listening to you. I listen to Big L, and I listen to Big Pun, and I listen to this, and I listen to that. Listen to that before you come at me spitting a verse.
But like,
you know
let's be real. If we would just think about what you just said, you were talking to fans of music, and they were explaining to you viscerally what fans give a shit about. I don't think that actually changed in the world of fans to this day when people talk about music. I don't mean peers, artists, and friends. I'm talking about just strangers, acquaintances.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have gone through the experience of, yo, check out my song. You know, like, and so I think what you're saying is super insightful and really helpful for a lot of people to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it was that type of, and I always felt like shit, but I also felt like, all right, well, I'm going to listen to Big L and fucking, study this type of, lyricism and ability to put words together and, all those kind of things. I needed to get good. Like I had a fucking thing inside me. I was like, I need to master that. Like,
you're so good
so
today.
I started like, I mean, it took, a lot. I mean, once I started getting good and I started putting out music and whatever, like for real, I started getting my props. But props can also make you kind of like feel yourself. You know what I'm saying? And be like, yo, I don't have to maybe try as hard.
Yes.
It's breaking through that and being like, yeah, actually I do. that makes you like solid and good. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I was good at rapping, but I wasn't like a solid artist for a long time.
Those are two extremely different things. I like that distinction. That's really cool. But still, you're young and you're applying yourself to the craft. And something I really appreciate is the level of effort that when people tell me like, yo, I knew I wasn't good, self-awareness. That's a huge part of being great, is to be self-aware. You have to know where you stand. And you're actually being realistic with this, Big L. Like, I'm going to say that to this day, I think Big L is one of the nicest. I don't care what. My Big L album review still gets clicked on. That doesn't happen for most people. But maybe 10 people a week. But still, somehow, Big L is that interesting, okay? Like, and you're like, I'm going to be that good. And I'm going to argue. I heard some of your shit. I put Dama on that playlist. I'm not going to lie. And
thank you.
Why? Because you created a real standard. Like, I'm not like, I got to be better than homeboy down the block. I got to be good enough to impress the people that are fucking with Big L. That's what I want to be.
Yeah.
And then you said you had that moment of niceness, and it might have been the AZ song. It might have been a different one. I don't know. But you had the moment of breakthrough niceness where you're like, I fucking achieved what I set out to do. And you grinded it out. And you went through the harshness, okay? Because it's not fun when people say your shit's not good enough. But you still did it, and you got better. You, as the kids say, you got good. And now you are, I don't know, that's incredible. Like, these are powerful fucking lessons. You might like look at it like so matter of fact because it's your life, but for me hearing it, it's like Dama is doing the shit people write books about that people spend $30 to read and never apply. That's actually dope.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
And like practice too, you know, like Zeps used to like have me freestyle with him like outside of his mom's, rest in peace, his mom's crib in Brighton Beach, and we would sit on the patio and like he would freestyle with me and like beatbox and like, you know, make me like go off of his last rhyme, you know, and that was definitely a sharpening thing. Like you got to think fast. Like I used to practice freestyling in my house while I was like trying to clean my room or something like that, and I'd just be like rapping about the stuff around the house, which is like not something I would do now because I know that like that's not where the ghost lives. You know what I'm saying? Like the ghost that takes over your body when you are kicking that freestyle where you blacking out and your eyes is on the back of your head. Like,
yeah, I know what you
like
mean.
The ghosts don't necessarily live there, but you need to do those things in order to be able to conjure the ghost, you know? But yeah, so I used to definitely like practice and go hard at like writing raps and trying to get good. And Zeps introduced me to my first producer, Nick Jack, who recorded my first album.
Zeps is the first guy you met, not the second guy? Because you said there were two.
Zeps is the second guy.
Second. And once again,
Zeps is the second.
Okay.
I want to make sure to say shouts out to Zeps. You know what I mean? Like I got a lot of love for Zeps. Zeps is the homie, and I always appreciated that about him. The way that he would like look out for everybody around him. So big shouts to Zeps.
That's fresh.
He was another venturer because he went to City Eyes high school in the city in Manhattan. So he was another venturer who connected groups from like Queens and other different places. And you know what I always loved about Zeps is that he is 100% real in your expectations. So whereas like being in this game as long as I've heard a million times, yo, this is going to be industry. This is going to be popping. This one and that one is going to be there. This one and that one's going to see you. It's going to be this and that. Like bullshit. Zeps would throw shows for friends, by friends. But what's it called? For friends, by friends, with friends, Bowery Poetry Club in Lower Manhattan. And he would tell you, yo, the show is starting late. I know I told you you're performing at 10, but most likely you're going on at 11. Yo, this and that. I told you your set is 10, but minutes or 15 minutes, it might be 8 minutes, whatever. Like, he was always just real about everything to the point where it's like that set a standard for me as well. Like, knowing that kind of realness of expectation made me really be able to discern the bullshit, even though of course I fell into the bullshit trap, the let's have a 2-hour phone conversation about making you famous, kid. You know what I'm saying? I definitely fell into that trap, but I didn't fall all the way into it where I like lost everything in it because I knew how to discern the bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Because of Zeps. And he introduced me my first, like, because Zeps is a rapper. John Frank is a rapper too, but he was like on some trying to be a mogul shit. Like he was trying to be Diddy, you know what I'm saying? Which, you know, he was of our little crew, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, they was all blooded out and shit. I was like, oh shit, I'm about to be blood by proximity, you know what I'm saying? Bronx. Five Bless. Shout out to Five Bless. Actually, what's the dude's name? Denzel Porter? That's from up there. He was the engineer of the first track that I ever recorded. What? And he was recording in that that was his studio. I don't think he even remembers that. But I came here with this dude named Black, aka Woo. Wow, Woo, early on. Now everybody on that Woo shit. Damn, okay. I'm just realizing shit. But yeah, like, so he put me on to like songs that got me in the studio type shit. Zeps helped me sharpen my sword and put me onto shows and introduced me to producers. He introduced me to Nick Jack and Souls. So, you know.
So let's go back to
got me on that next level.
So let's go through the Bronx part because I think we skipped that to go to the other part because that's how I understand the timeline unless I'm confused. But so you finish high school at some point, I assume.
I didn't finish high school.
You don't. But let's see. Finish the era of high school is what I was trying to like kind of move on through, like I guess 18ish. Now I don't know whenever it is. But when do you start going to Bronx and moving into the next?
No, I was doing that while I was like 16, 17.
Okay.
I was doing that early, and then I I was still in high school. I was in my like second high school, moving on to my third high school when I started going to the Bronx and recording. And then a couple of months later, that's when I started hanging out with Zeps, still in high school.
Okay, so this is
but
all
now
like
in
at
Brooklyn
the same
Studio.
time. So like, so it's not.
Yeah,
like,
it's within the same couple of years. It's within the same.
That makes
New
more sense now.
New Yorkers tend to be a little bit more advanced. Like you're kind of doing adult things once you're in high school. If you're kind of like really out there like that, and that's just kind of like the MO.
Yeah. I never graduated high school. I got my GED years later, but I was cutting school to go do selling drugs and music shit. Like that was like my whole MO, especially when I got out and I started going to Brooklyn Studio. I was a really good student for the first 6 months. Like my report card was fire. But then I met my homegirl Angie, and she was on her like cutting school and smoking weed shit. And I was like, let me get back on my selling weed shit, you know, and I could like make some money out here. And I started chilling with her and doing all of that. And then I started going to the Bronx. She came with me to my first studio session ever. Shout out to Angie. So, we trooped it 2.5 hours from Bensonhurst to 238th and White Plains. So, yeah, that was, and then I only did that like 3 or 4 times. I would go out there and chill, record a few songs, whatever. But then shortly after that is when I met Zeps, and he started getting me, he introduced me to Nick Jack. And Nick Jack used to pick me up from Brooklyn Studio. He was my friend with the car. He's from Staten Island. He used to pick me up from Brooklyn Studio at like 11 a.m. We would go to Queens to do a radio show at Queensboro Community College. Or is it Long Island? The one in Long Island City, I think. What's the Queens College? Like one of the main ones. LaGuardia.
LaGuardia? I was going to say LaGuardia. With the they used to have the Averex outlet behind it.
I don't even remember, but I know they had a college radio station.
They definitely did.
We used to go and freestyle on that station. And this is all during school. I'll bring a bottle of E&J with me, blunts, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like just like busting sales and shit, busting choppies while I was out there. And then freestyle on the radio show, then go back to Staten Island, record a song, then get dropped off in Brooklyn. So like I was already like on some like this is my life. I loved it, you know. But it's like life got its ways, but that was a cool time.
Yo, it's nifty to think like you were just like a part of it all. Like, were you actively performing? Were you just recording? Like, for you, it's just like a blur or whatever. Yeah. For me, it's like, okay, so she went to Bronx and she made some music, and I don't know what that really means. So
yeah, I mean that was a stint. You know what I'm saying? Like I did a few things up there, came back down, did a few things down there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all kind of simultaneous. As soon as I met Zeps, he started putting me onto shows. So simultaneously, I'm recording in Staten Island and then doing shows with Zeps in Lower Manhattan. This is all like fake ID shit. Like I was probably like 17, turning 18 at that time. So henceforth for a hot minute.
So like,
and you
tell us about performing though. Like, what's it like to be performing in New York in that time, being underage as a MC? Like, that's a crazy experience that not many people are ever gonna have.
Yo, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like so regular. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just went to the place. I used somebody's sister's ID because I had a fake ID my whole life. From like 13 on, I always had some kind of fake ID, but I needed a real fake ID that was a real one that you could scan. So I would borrow like my homeboy's sister's IDs and shit like that, and I would have a couple in the thing, and I would go to the spot, and they would just let me in to. And if they thought so I'll tell you a good story. Zeps took me upstate New York, to do a show with like Merck, and a bunch of people upstate in Albany. Merck and the New Familiars. First time I saw like a hip hop band, melodic situation, definitely inspired me. But the bouncer didn't want to. It's brick outside. It's cold. It's wintertime. Bouncer didn't want to let me in because he did this thing. This was when Google Maps first came out. All right, because he looked at my ID and he was like, "What's your address?" I'm like, "I know my address by heart. Spit in my address." He puts the address up in the Google Maps and says, "What's your cross streets?" And I'm like, what? Like. I definitely didn't know. He did not want to let me in. I'm like, dude, I just came here from Brooklyn, like 3.5 hours away. my homeboys, I'm with Zeps and another dude, and he's asking them my name, but they know my real name, but they know me as Dama. So, but they don't know my ID name.
Right.
So they're like, "What's her name?" He's like, "Yo, we know her as Dama, yo. We're all rappers. We don't know each other's real names." And so we had to call the owner. And at this time, I was selling this weed that, if you remember, at that time in New York City, there was this weed that was regs, but it looked like dro, and we called it baby dro. And it didn't have no seeds or stems, and it smoked real good, and it had the fucking I like it looked icy. You know what I'm saying? Like it could pass for
I
dro.
remember this.
The baby dro.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
And technically speaking, there was like probably like 20 strains like that.
Yes. I used to get it for regs prices, so I would get it for like.
You guys had a baby dro. That's the cutest weed name I ever heard.
Yeah, it was super cute. It was super cute how much money that shit made, because I used to fucking buy it for fucking like regs prices. What was it like? It was like $50 an ounce or some shit. It was something ridiculous at that time. And when we would go upstate, like at that time, I bagged it up and I sold nicks as dimes and dimes as dubs and so on, double everything. So, and you know, because when you go into upstate New York from the city, you're like, yo, I got that piff, I got that New York piff.
When you're going out of New York, period, it's the biggie.
Yeah.
And nicks go for dimes down south. You know, everything doubles in price as soon as we leave New York City with it, because it gets a New York City tax.
Yeah. The New York City tax. And you'd be like, yo, it's that fucking haze. Silver haze. They'd be like, yeah, let me get fucking like so much, like all of it is sold out, cleared out. So the owner comes out, the dude's not letting me in. She puts an X on my hand. She's like, yo, you can come in just to perform. After you perform, you're out. I'm like, all right. I come in there, I'm selling mad weed. And then I watch the other performers, I perform. She didn't kick me out. She let me stay. I ended up selling her weed, everybody at the bar, you know what I'm saying? And it was a great night. But yeah, performing with fake IDs, it's like what I had to do at that time, you know? It's bars. It's all bars. You got to fucking travel to, you know what I'm saying? Get to a bar to perform, club, whatever.
All I'm saying is my girlfriend reminisced and appreciated your story more than, like, I felt like you brought her back to her fake ID era, and a lot of people had a fake ID era.
For sure. I started going out to clubs when I was like 14. You know, 13, 14. I started going out to 21 and up.
Yo, I was from Broad Street, yo. Know what I mean? Philly.
Yeah.
Broad Street. I was a Super Beans fan when I got my fake ID.
I certainly was.
You was
not
from
that
Philly?
person.
I had a Pennsylvania ID too, my first fake ID that I got in the West Village. From Philadelphia though. I think it was like Pittsburgh or some shit, but it was a Pennsylvania state ID because the places in the East Village, they made fake IDs like on the spot. They're not scannables. But they never did New York.
You know what? I think I'm getting what you're saying. Like, yo, it's crazy, right? Because I got mine in Harlem on 125th, and it's just like for them to be that far separated and to both be doing specifically Pennsylvania, where in Pennsylvania you want to be from, you know what I mean? Like,
my girlfriend was telling me.
Yeah, because it's close, but not New York, you know?
Yeah, no, this 14-year-old girl.
But yeah, what was she saying?
She's like, I was at the bar at 14. Trust, I'm with you. She's commiserating with your experiences.
For sure. I mean, it was fucking sick, man. It was sick. I had my homegirls, Jackie and Monica, and like, you know, they were older. They was like 5 years older than me. And we was friends since I was like 13. They were like 17, turning 18. Like, I was just hanging out with all older kids. Everybody was older than me. But I really started clicking with them. And we would, you know, do all the shit. And we would go to fucking clubs. And like, we went to like Life in Queens and like all these different places and like just partying like we're 21. So it was, I mean, like I'm 21. Crazy, man. Crazy. But I feel like, yo, back then I used to tell my moms, I was like, yo, let me do all this shit right now and get it out of my system. Because I'm going to do it eventually. I'm going to just do it now.
That's great. That's great life advice. That's a knowledge nugget right there for facto. Drop those.
Not every kid should be doing that shit.
You should. No, I'm saying, period. Like, it's good to get things out of the way. Like, all those, like, I'm going to fuck up. I'm going to do all this crazy shit. You should get that done early.
Yeah,
like, that's why a lot of people in life end up having those midlife crises because they have like that, like this feeling of just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die without having done X, Y, and Z and experiencing whatever. And it's just like, you should have did that when you were young. You should have been so
I didn't do any of that shit when I was young, and then I hit my mid-20s, and all of a sudden I'm dibbling and dabbling in things that I probably should have dibbled and dabbled in like way earlier in life, right? And when you're like full-time employee shit, coming in after a Molly trip feeling depressed is a different thing than when you're going to school. That's all, you know, it's just a different vibe. It's like, so like hearing you say that, I think, you know, this, I'm not, not to encourage everyone, but like
going into a 9 to 5, shirt and tie, corporate America with like, after a weekend of like fucking doing wild coke and having like the ill bloody nose at work, like that's like, it's different. It's another, these are situations that, you know,
so
here's why we're here.
You spit some wisdom again.
Yo, I worked in the Empire State Building on the 60th floor when I was 18 to 20, like 18 and a half to 20. I worked in the Empire State Building for a fucking, like, if you see Wolf of Wall Street, that's where I worked. And I used to work with a bunch of degenerates. Everybody had a suit and tie on, but they had tattoos up to their neck, you know? Everybody did coke. Everybody in there was either in rehab and recovery or still an addict about to go to rehab. So we did coke in the elevator. Like I did that, like party all weekend, while out, whatever, and then come into work Monday morning, or party on a Tuesday, come into work Wednesday morning. And, you know, but I was really young, so I was able to handle it at that time. Like you know, like it's... Not now, fuck that. But back then, 100%. And I would talk to my homeboys that was all, and my homegirl that was, everybody was all in rehab and shit. And they were like, listen, I was like, what would happen if you take a shot right now? They'd be like, yo, I'm gonna end up in a hotel with a hooker and a fucking 8-ball of blow and a needle in my arm by tomorrow night. And I'm like, oh shit, so we do drugs differently. Like, that's when I learned, like, people do drugs differently. Some people could do drugs or dabble or whatever, and some people are like, nah, stay away. Don't do that.
They're ready they're ready to crash their whole entire life. Like, look, this is me. I'm behind the wheel and I'm about to take this bitch off the road.
Right. So yeah, I definitely get the whole. That was my last corporate job. I mean, that was my only corporate job. But yeah, that was the job that told me that I don't want to be working in the corporate situation. Yeah. But I've been working since I was 14, whether it's hustling or whatever, or legit, like hustling and legit jobs simultaneously. Like in New York City, you need both, you know? So I was doing both a lot, and I did like telemarketing and shit. You know, whatever. But that Empire State Building job was crazy. It was mad bread. My first paycheck, they took me to the strip club across the street, Rick's Cabaret, ordered me a steak and a bottle, got me a lap dance, like, hey, welcome to the company. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I like working here.
That's amazing. That is a wild time. That is a seriously wild story. I'm not gonna lie. I like appreciated it. I assume that your dog is being adorable, and that's why you muted it. I'm a dog person, so I'm all about that. Don't get me wrong, so I fucks with it.
Yeah. I'm about to kick her all the way to Montreal. You can fucking have her. She's over here bugging.
I'm all right with that.
No, I'm playing.
No, I respect that. Dogs are dope. That's like when I can get to that place in life, I will get a dog. I don't think I can do it today because it's mad commitment, and I respect anybody that holds it down.
Yeah, I've had my dog for 7 years, man. Tanner, that's my baby.
That's beautiful. So like when you were like, when is it like? I don't really know how your like whole career goes, right? So now I know that you're performing and you're like basically young, and then at
that makes point, 2 of us, bro.
Then you turn like adult. Okay, because for me, like adult is 18. For you, adult is 21, right? So I guess for you, you're not really over age.
No, for me, adult was 14.
Well, I meant like, okay.
No, but yeah, for sure. I mean, no, because you could smoke cigarettes and like adult is 18 in the United States, but drinking age and like going to clubs and bars is 21. You know, but By the time I was 21, I had already been living on my own, working, doing so much adult shit that there was no like crossing over of the threshold. Like like 18 and 21 was not like thresholds to cross for me at all, because I was already living like I was 21 for a long time. So
I
it was
hear
like by
that.
the time I got there, I was like, this is just regular. This is just life. I
So,
had already lived 100 lives by that time.
so how is it going like musically then throughout this period? So you start recording, you start being linked up with producers, you start meeting people, and then what happens with all of that?
I started performing with Zeps. A lot of people started seeing me in the New York City scene. I started going to EO Dub when I was like 17. And yeah, I started like sharpening my sword, you know. I met all the homies from over there and over here. And you know, I was there pretty much, you know, every Sunday that I could be there. Um then when I was how was I? 19, Zeps booked us like a tour situation in California. So I went to LA and the Bay Area, and we did like 3 shows in LA, then drove up to the Bay and did 2 shows up there, and with our homies like Zenhao and Zyme and Floss. Shout out to them.
So you like literally road tripped across the country to perform places.
No, we flew to
Okay, you
LA. I
flew.
mean, we flew to LA and then we drove to the Bay. And then we went to North Carolina, drove down there, did a show out there with all the homies. Souls was there, F Dub was there. It was a bunch of us. Then Zeps and I went to Norway, London, and Amsterdam and performed. So we did a bunch of shows out there. Then I came back to New York, and Mozzie put me on to like this Wu-Tang Chic Luch tour that was going on. So I opened up for them.
And this is
Wow.
all at
Hold
the age
up.
of like 19, you said,
You,
right?
you
Yeah. Oh no, at this point now, like there was the Cali tour, there was the North Carolina thing, there was the Norway, London, Amsterdam, there was another Cali time. Then by this time, by the time I performed with Chic Luch and Ghostface, I must have been 21 because I had my 21st birthday in LA.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Um,
These are your college years that
the
you're talking
second the
about.
second time I went to LA, I had my
Yo, but
21st
that's
birthday
like,
from one of these fake ass industry parties where they told me like, "Oh, it's mad industry execs. You're gonna perform midnight hit." I had the mic in my hand and the beats with the DJ, and Jesus there ready to be my hype man. And they shut down the whole fucking spot because the promoters didn't pay them. So that was how I spent my 21st birthday. I wanted to fight everybody. I wanted to wash people up. We all was about to die in LA because we was all very upset. But then I went to Norway and London and whatever. So by this time I'm 21.
right.
This is 21 time.
Yo, but that's like, do you realize how much you've done by 21? You've already like done more than entire careers by the time you're 21.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you this, like what she just listed, like by the age of 21, like that's like experience that other artists like wish that they could pay for
Yep.
and get early in life. You know what I mean?
No,
Most
not
artists
just
don't get
early in
those
life.
experiences
People would just do it at
till
all
later
ages.
on.
There are people who would just, I know today that are like, would just pay for that experience if they could. If they knew the person, they put up 5 racks just to get that experience.
Yeah. And I think the reason that like everybody saw how hungry I was, especially Zeps. So he always would put me on, and like our own, you know what I'm saying? Like people that or not even our own, but like people that he put on before would be like tight. Like, yo, I thought I was going to rock. Like Dama gets time, whatever, like hating. But I'm like, yo, I come when Zeps ain't throwing a show and he's like, yo, there's this bar in Williamsburg that I'm going to go perform. You know, I got a set. It's 15 minutes. I'll give you like a song and a half or whatever. You could have 5 minutes of my set if you come, and it's in Williamsburg, so that's like a fucking hour and a half on the train in a blizzard or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I would do it every time, no matter what I was going through in my real life. Like during this time, I was fucking homeless. I was like shit was that was a bad time period in my personal life, but a good time period in my music life because I was hungry and I didn't give a fuck if I didn't have nowhere to sleep that night. I would find a place to change to like look as fly as I could or whatever to go to a show and perform at any given time. So it was like people like Zeps and like Mozzie when he put me onto that show, and like later on Penn when he put me onto Jimmy Fallon, probably like within a year or so after that, saw in me because I was ready, willing, and able to rock all the time. Hungry shit. All the way.
But those are big life lessons. Cause cause a lot of people that are hungry, and I use the quotation marks because when it comes to hungry, it stops at the words. But you're describing a lot of actions you took that are irrevocably hungry. I do know what it is to take an hour and a half Blizzard fucking subway. I have to do that shit to work a lot. Like, it's just half a year for here. So hearing you say that you're willing to drop shit to go do that, to do 5-minute sets, I have some like pride issues sometimes at the idea of 5-minute sets today and now. So like,
well, today, yeah, for sure.
But like
back then though, it's like, 19, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old Dama was very like, I don't like, it took a while for people to find, like, once I got gassed up enough to where I was feeling myself and I already dropped a project and a video, then it became kind of more like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if Dom was performing, like, it's a show, you know what I'm saying? Like, put me on a real thing, like getting my own. But before that, while I was, working my way up, I'd go to EO Dub, which is, for me at that time, it would be a train and a cab or 2 trains or a train and a hefty walk, because EO Dub wasn't really next to where my train was, So it was kind of a mission, especially on a weekday. I mean, a weekend, Sunday.
When did you start going
But
to
I
the
would
Dub?
do it and go just to rock one song or rock at the Power Cypher at the end, even though I never had, at 17.
Yeah, 17.
So yeah, EO Dub, like, even though I never had to sign the, after my first couple of times of going, after that I never had to sign the list again. I'd always get like put on stage at a certain point. It's still going on a mission to go rock and going on a mission to go cypher, but it's like what you do when you love it. Like, all you do want to do is be around it and do it.
Could you talk about that for a second real quick? Could you like break it down? Because I think you're thinking that this audience is familiar with your Dub story, and they probably aren't. You know what I mean? Like, so you not being able to sign up is like a super.
So here, let me give you a frame of reference to always keep in mind. Golden Jenny's in Norway. She does not know necessarily about the EO Dub experiences and what the list means in New York City. I think it's the Pyramid, right? Is it the Pyramid? Is that the name of the place?
Yeah, it was the Pyramid at that time. Yeah. So EO Dub is this network that we're all on now, but it's been 20 plus years in New York City and a bunch of countries around the world. But at that time, I just knew EO Dub as an open mic place with an MC challenge that I had friends that participated in and people that beefed in it. It was just a place. It had a certain kind of reputation for having like politics or whatever, like from people that weren't in it. So I was a little apprehensive, but when I started going, the first people I saw was Angel, Vice, Sarah, and Jess. That was the era that I started going. Like when
I'm sorry to interrupt you again, sis. You know what I mean? So, pardon the interruption, but right, let's give them full names. So, Angela was Angel as an artist back then, right? And Vice Versus and Sarah Connor with a K and Jess James Figueroa.
Yep.
Is the first people that you meet at EO Dub, which are pretty big names. Those are all like, you meet one of the founders in Vice Versus, and you meet one of the future co-hosts with you in Sarah, and also like underground veteran, super veteran, and Jess James Figueroa.
Yep.
And Angela, who's like also like helps run the Dub to this day, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
and Vice Versus was the whole reason that we're here in this Zoom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like this whole Zoom channel was started as a memorial to Vice Versus. So yeah, rest in peace, VZ, man.
No, that's cool. And just people don't necessarily understand that this is like a big deal to people. Like everybody I've talked to from New York has spoken of their time going through the Dub, But what people don't often talk about is how they went a couple of times and got skipped and don't have to sign up on the list. In fact, usually what people are telling me is how they had to wait on the list till the end of the night. So not everybody's going to know that you not having to wait on the list is a testament to the fact that you're that ill. And you're really just being humble about it is what I'm appreciating, when you should be a little bit more braggadocious about how significant it is that you got to skip the list. So that's why I worded it all like that, because it's actually a big deal that you're that good.
I mean, I guess.
No. It's definite fact, and that's what I'm trying to drag out of you too. And I'm like, man, crazy now. Like, yo, fam, I need you to be on it right now. Like, let's be real. Like, these are all like, those names are all very important names, and the fact that you are that like blessed to have, you know, have all those cosigns and be able to have the right to skip the line. Yo, my outside just went crazy. Like, yo, the Bronx, baby. Like, I hear
shooting
like
up there, they hearing
cars, guns, the speakers just started blaring. Like, the Bronx, baby.
The Bronx, it speaks, it has a voice.
But yo, like, you really like, you're like downplaying it, and Holden's right to like say what he's saying. Like, yo, everybody come on.
Fucking
everybody that came on, you know,
body and shit from the first day.
Yeah, you know what I mean? There we go.
Look, like,
no, it's facts. I mean, Vice saw me and he was immediately like a friend. Like, yo, you're good. Like, you know what I'm saying? We met up shortly after one of my first times at the Dub, and he took me to Harlem where Ox was living with Aguilar, and we recorded a song together with Aguilar, the Dom Bishop, and Ox, real big Ox. I don't know if he's still in here.
He's there. I was about to ask, is that the same Ox that has the thing playing right now that's just a bunch of random movie clips? Or clips?
Yeah, it's the Vice video for with Television, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, so immediately Vice was on stage all the time hosting at EO Dub at that time. So anytime I would come in, he'd give me that look like, you, come here, like, let's go. So yeah, he got me, like, he was the first person to ask me to be he was the only person that really told me to be in the MC challenge. Like, he didn't ask me, he like, yo, Dama, like, you're down to do the MC challenge? I'd be like, yeah, I'm down to do it. Like, so he put me in my first MC challenge, which I won, and put me in every challenge that I've pretty much been in, except for these virtual ones.
So keep it.
You won versus who?
I don't know who was in that. I don't remember who was in that first one. I remember who was in the Challenge of Champions in that first one, and I think it was like CF, Amzilla. Oh damn! I don't know. It was like, I know Amzilla was in. I know CF was in it. I was in one with Iron Solomon
monsters, two absolute monsters with freestyling.
Yeah. But that's like, for the challenge. That was the challenge of Champions. I didn't win that. No, sir. I was in a Challenge of Champions, but I won my next MC challenge.
You won the challenge that got you there.
Yeah, I won the challenge that got me there. But by the time I did my second one, and my second Challenge Champions was Iron Solomon.
I'm pretty sure Iron Solomon said he didn't do the Challenge of Champions. He just did the first one. Like, I might be wrong, but because I did talk to Iron Solomon.
No, he did it. He was in it.
Was he in
He was in it with
me,
and I wore a cape that time. He remembers.
Okay, fair enough. I might be wrong. I'm gonna just trust you because you were there. And
I wore a cape, and I was like, yeah, I'm fucking super rap bitch. I'm coming to fucking, you know what I'm saying, beat everybody up. I was way too gassed. I didn't prep at all. I was like, yo, I'm just gonna come in there and do what I do. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, nah, bro, you gotta prep. Challenge Champions. What are you doing? Can't wild style this shit. Oh yeah, my second MC challenge was I got in because of a wild style. I just came up and did it. I was there. Vice told me just go down stage and come do the wild style. We need more people to do it.
What's a wild style?
Like, where it's like you got 5 contestants and you need the 6th one. So you do, like, you get people from the audience to come on stage and like spit a verse, and the audience picks who goes into the challenge. So it happens all that night.
Okay.
So yeah, I did the wild style. Obviously, won that shit. After I started getting good at performing, I got really good at crowd. Like it's a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like a sorcery that happens. Crowd control, MCing.
Right.
It's interesting. It's like being able to like just you are mine. You know what I'm saying? Like when I did that shit when I opened up for Ghostface and Chic Luch during that time period. I did like 3 shows with them, right? Like Poughkeepsie, Long Island, whatever. And the first show, I was with Mozzie, and me and Mozzie is on stage watching the show from the back. And something happens with their sound system that hasn't happened the whole tour or whatever, and they need some time to fill. So they're like, yo, we're going to have people from the audience come rap. So I turned to Mozzie. I'm like, yo, is it still from the audience if I'm coming up from behind on stage? And Mozzie's like, yo, go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, I don't want to, like, you know, be that guy or whatever. But, yeah, so I came up and from behind, Ghostface. He looks at me like, what the fuck? Like, and I'm like, yo, trust me. I'm about to fucking murder this. And, he calls up people from the audience. It's a whole line of people. Now it's Ghostface and Capadonna on stage, right? And I'm all the way at the end, and it's a whole line of people, right? So people is rapping garbage, trash, like one by one, and they're not even letting them finish their fucking rhyme. As soon as they start, if that shit is bad, they don't let them finish 4 bars. They're like, nah, like they're making those sound effects. Nah. Next, go on to the next one. And like finally I'm like yo, because they're getting tight, they're about to stop this because they're like, yo, y'all are whack. And I'm like, Ghost, please, bro, like I'm telling you. He gives me the mic, I fucking spit one of my verses that's like vicious, like, and you know, once you perform for a while, you start learning that not all the verses that are great on wax are great live. You gotta be able to, you know what I'm saying, like perform it. And a lot of times there's verses that maybe when you listen to it on wax, it's like super fire because you get to listen to the words. But what people like live, especially at that time, not so much as this time, but all the time, is flow. Your flow has to be crazy in the pocket. But at that time, if you on stage for that kind of hip hop audience, what they want to hear is the like that's like going hard. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like, and while spitting, you know, lyrical miracle without doing that. It's the lyrical miracle whip, we call it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's frowned upon, but at that time it was like fire to do on stage. So I fucking did my shit. That's like, because I already knew they're not hearing all my words, but they was hearing my flow, they was hearing my pocket, and they knew that I was killing it. A bitch gets on some dude's shoulders. Like I got the crowd so much with an acapella that they're all bopping with me, and a bitch gets on a dude's shoulders and starts rocking with me. And I'm like, I got this. I give it back to Ghost. He's mad impressed. The next night we're in Long Island. Ag the coroner is the only person on earth who can testify to this. I'm standing with Ag, we talking. I'm telling him, you know, what's been going on the show last night. This is in Long Island now. And Ghostface walks up and he's talking to me and Ag, and he tells Ag, yo, shorty had their backs breaking last night. And I was like,
Ghostface Killer Cosign from
Ghostface Killer Cosign.
Wow. Like my guy. That's not just, you know, dime a dozen. That doesn't just, you know,
even
like
everyone
everybody gets that.
I mean, like when we say everyone gets that, I mean everybody gets that one. We all have watched excessive amounts of Ghostface Killer media in our lives. At least anybody watching this will have, regardless to where they are in the world. That is so cool, Dama.
Yeah, so I turned to Ag and I was like, remember this.
Yeah, we just got a damn holy
this.
Fuck. That's what's coming through the comments right now. Wow, with a champion fucking trophy thing. That is more than cool. That is epic in caps. Backs breaking from that's Flacco. but yo, no, for real. Like I'm telling you, you're that interesting.
Yo, that was sick, man. That was sick. I was like, yo, you better remember this forever because nobody videotaped this. Nobody Instagrammed it. There was no Instagram. It was like, yeah, Ghostface just said that to me, and I held on to that. And I've met him many times after that. He never remembered me, and I never even think I even brought that up. Like, yo, remember you said I had their backs breaking from that show? Like, I never did that. I would just be like, yo, what's up, Dama?
That's
Yeah,
so
we met
classy of you.
Yeah.
That's classy as fuck.
Can you imagine, like, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. Next time I see Ghostface, I'm be like, yo, remember fucking mad years ago in Poughkeepsie?
If you really want,
you remember you said that about me?
So what I can do is tweet it out and be like, yo, Dama says this, that thing, and then tweet him at it and see if he responds. Because we did that with Memphis Bleak and Nunzio, and Memphis Bleak retweeted and said, this is big facts. And I'm like, yeah, it's possible. Then you don't have to do it.
I don't know if he'll remember me. But
it's not possible.
Like, I feel like I've
definite. Like with everybody who comes on the show on this one, like these are all people that I know for a fact are not like lying here. They're not.
Nobody here to like lying.
Like no. Not saying that they, but I'm just saying it's all facts. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of whether or not they remember.
Right.
But
if we tag Ag the Coroner remembers.
I'll tag.
I don't know if Ghostface remembers. Ghostface has done fucking a million shows. You know what I'm saying?
Who's
and I met them
all.
AG the Coroner.
No, I'm trying to get you there.
Oh, the legendary rapper, bro. Legendary rapper. Like rapped with like I don't know, every fucking underground rapper that you could think of has done a song with Ag. He's fucking phenomenal, and that's the bro. That's been the bro for mad years. We met at Dowry Poetry Club at a Zep show or Public Assembly, one of those like Williamsburg joints. And yeah, that's the bro right there. But he's fucking nice as fuck, mad nice, mad dope, and a mad cool ass solid dude. But he's definitely done a song with every fucking favorite underground rapper, and even above underground rappers that you could possibly think of.
Well, he's definitely super easy to Google, which is amazing.
Yeah,
makes life simpler when people are easy.
You should have him on your show, because when I tell you that motherfucker got some stories, and he could give you the fucking cosign to this story right here.
So this is when
absolutely.
Flacco,
No, that's
go for it, Flacco. Do your thing.
That's exactly what I was planning. You know what I mean? Like that's why I was saying, like tell people about. Who he is,
this is legends for sure. I mean, it's like when I was watching Penn shit, I totally got the sentiment of like, this is regular, this is just life. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, it was like there was mainstream rappers that I listened to, and there was underground rappers that I knew and listened to, and you know what I'm saying, whatever. But I didn't like. Unless I like knew your music before I met you, it was very like, oh, we just cool, we all in the same scene. And it's like, oh shit, look at you coming up. And like Homeboy Sandman is one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like people that I saw on the scene performing, made friends with, became cool with, and see them coming up and like admiring their come up. You know what I'm saying? And like, look at that, But it's still like also like, yeah, I'm an underground rapper too, and I also want to come for your food, everybody's food.
I'm just going to put it out there. To me, you're as cool as all these people.
I mean, thanks. I am.
I don't know. I don't see the difference.
Yeah, you are. Yeah,
I had this conversation with a lot of people, and in the cool sphere, you're one of the coolest. I knew you were going to be one of the coolest, and you deliver.
It takes a while to get, you know what I'm saying? It takes certain kind of, you know what I'm saying? But cool. What I learned, and I think what Craig has also taught me, is like there is nothing cooler than real. There's like real, regular shit.
Facts.
Like the real,
Facts.
The realness, the regularness. There's nothing cooler than that.
Being real about who you are is real.
Whatever that is. Whatever that is.
And that's the coolest thing you could be in this world.
But there's more to
being yourself.
There's more to it than
naturally
that.
and not like, you know what I mean?
I mean, you're
that's
right.
That's the coolest shit in the world.
But part of it's attitude, because some people are themselves and they're not cool like that. I talk to a lot of people who are themselves, and the level of cool changes. I love everybody I talk to. Everybody's got a story. But your attitude is very solution-oriented, very positive, very self-aware. Maybe this is subjective, but the things I think are cooler than other things. So in a Holden's cool
Yeah.
factor points, you're like a cool person tier. Like I've decided there's a tier of people I think are super fucking cool, and this is like a cool person tier of life. You're definitely in that tier. You know, you're just your story
Thank you.
is just so full of interesting life lessons. Like, and you figured them out so young. And yo, listen, you also just dropped a fire, amazing, respinnable song with great visuals, a behind-the-scene marketing campaign. You also just survived the Texas situation. Yo, like Dama, you're incredible. But the whole way through, you're sitting here with these smiles, this like energy of love. Yo, you've clearly gone through some shit enough to be sitting there having that level of love in your life. That's some serious shit. And I'm telling you, not everybody chooses to be the way yo, I had to even check my ego a little bit after talking to you once. I'm like, okay, Dama's got like some realness to it. You know, you have to think about it after, because you're like, God, but it's the attitude that you choose to adopt mixed with everything else that makes you extra cool. So no, it's not everybody that does. It's more than just be yourself. It's be yourself with an attitude that is kind of like that.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I think it's also being knowledgeable, like knowledgeable with experience is different than like knowledgeable from anything else. And it's like knowledgeable in what you know, just like, and good at what you like. Those are things that make somebody, I guess, cool to me, is like being good and knowledgeable at what you do. Like so much so that it's like, it's, you know, it's a part of you and you're really good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's cool to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I always like strive for, is to just know more than I did before and get better at what I do, and not be scared to get inspired too, because
But you also
you never
have
like, you know what I'm saying?
But you also
I
have,
could be better too every day.
that's not something everybody who achieves things feels. That's just truth about it. I mean, not everybody has that attitude to know that they can be better every day and learn every day and all that stuff. It's not everybody. I mean, it might feel like maybe you happen to have the illest support circle, and due to the ecosystem of bubble, you're surrounded by a blessed number of, you look how wise you are. Of course you are. So maybe you just see love and great things because you just built this amazing situation. I'm on my way there. So trust, I still see a lot of other things in the world, and not everybody is living the same attitude and mentality, applying the same level of discipline and wisdom. Yo, you were like straight up Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm working on a project with my friends. This day I have this thing going on. This day, your time management, project management, effective control. Yo, these are real, like, you need these things to achieve greatness in your life, and you're just executing them all.
Yes.
But you're also smiling. That's the hardest one.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, I could be very lazy by nature as well. So it's a very, you know, I gotta really discipline myself. I got help because Craig is like that, and he believes in me and wants me to be great too. And every single day, that motherfucker works on beats, no matter what. Or if he got a battle going on, he's working on that. Like, no matter what. There's no, after like meeting him and seeing how he works, because I've been surrounded by a lot of like jaded older rappers for a long time too, that kind of gave up. Like, they're still good at what they do. They're some of the best rappers that I've known, but they don't do it every day. They don't rap every day. They don't record every day. They kind of like have this feeling of like, if I'm not gonna like make it, then what's the point of me doing it? Like, I'm older, I got a family to feed, I got this and that. And for me, it's like, I need to just do it, the thing. Like, I need to just make music. Like, I love to make music. I don't care. I'm going to be freestyling on the boardwalk at 75. I'm never going to, like, no matter what happens in my career, there is no way that I'm going to stop making music. I'm mad nice at it, and it's literally my favorite thing to do. So, like, I, like, unlocked something, especially during, because for the past few years, I've been recording a lot. I put out a project last February, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been recording, but I wasn't doing it every day still. Quarantine hit, and then a certain thing happened that, you know, that made me go hard. And then Vice passed, and then this Zoom happened, and I started going even harder. Like, I was already about to go hard, but that shit threw me over the edge to the point where it was like, there is nothing else. Like, I need to do this every day, no matter what. And like, on days that I don't do it, do something to accompany it. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's not like a day where I have to like, you know, cook a dinner and clean the house or whatever the case is, like the other thing that I need to be doing is something music related. So, you know, doing it every day and the, you know, all of this, the Zoom helped me with that too. It's like, that's what, there's no other thing but to be good when you're doing it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's muscle memory. I could write a song in 10 minutes right now if I'm feeling the melody because of muscle memory, because I do it so much, like with confidence. Because before it would be like, maybe this isn't that great. But now that I do it every day, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I probably missed the most this week is being able to record because I've been doing it a lot. But I read the book. Another thing that helped me with that, with everything, the discipline and the time management, is the book Relentless by Tim Grover, who was Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's and Dwayne Wade's personal trainer. And I'm not even a sports fan. I don't even watch basketball. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I respect the greats and all of that, but I'm not a basketball watcher. And I fucking read that book, and that book is basically like, yo, you're either all the way winner or you're not doing shit. Like go hard or go home. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of, the way that it's written, it really inspired me to like
I
get up
appreciate
and
that.
do it every day.
I'm gonna buy that book. I'm not even gonna lie. Yo, if somebody like you read that book, I have to buy the book. That's my philosophy on books. I don't even think twice. I don't have to go harder. We're just gonna get the book. No, I'm just
Get the book.
I'm just into reading though, so I don't
Get
know
the
that
book.
everyone else is that into reading, but yo, I look at it like, yo, people I admire read some shit and say it's impactful. Everybody should be taking that note down and buying that motherfucker and reading that book. That's my opinion. And you might go, oh, but why should I buy a book? Invest in yourself, motherfucker. It's cheap. It's actually, and it's a good value proposition. Yeah. If you're willing to spend $20, $30 to go to a movie for 2.5 hours, then you should consider that spending $20, $30 to buy a book that's going to last you 8 to 10 hours is probably a great value proposition for your time in a time era where maybe people have a lot of time, and maybe you should read more fucking books. And just throwing it out there. You brought up books, yo. That's my favorite. Okay, do you read a lot?
Not as much as I should, but you know, here and there, not as much as I used to. But I read that recently, and then I was reading a novel recently, especially when the lights were out. I really started getting into it. With the flashlight or sitting in the car, I like halfway finished the book in this last week. But you know, I'm not big on like the self-help stuff. So, you know, I like Celestine Prophecy. That's another one that I read when I was younger that showed me a few things. And I read that. So it resonated with me when you said like, yo, this person that I admire thinks that book is good. I'm getting that book. I heard Jay-Z like Celestine Prophecy. I was like, I'm getting that book. Whatever Jay-Z's reading is what I need to be reading. Like that's always the motto. You know what I'm saying? So I got Celestine Prophecy and I read that, and that definitely, you know, opened my eyes to some shit. But knowing and doing, it's like it's two different things. You got to be a doer. And I've always been a finisher, and I think that has to, like, astrology bitches tell me it's because I'm a Cancer with a Capricorn moon. I don't know, make of that what you will. But I've always been a finisher. Like, people around me are like starters and not finishers. Like, I deal with a lot of fire signs. Like, Craig is the Aries, you know, and they're like starters but not finishers. So it's like the completion, because I'm a finisher all the way.
I can tell you that as a Aries, like, that's a stigma that we have. Aries people in general is like that they don't finish. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Which I can justify because I've seen most people. I mean, I fight for it. Like, that's. I make sure to finish shit because of that. Because I know that. So I'm just like, nah. The buck stops here.
Right. I did this. Now y'all finish that.
No, that's super interesting.
Go with that. Yeah. Horoscopes are dope. I like that shit.
I don't know. Every time I read some
horoscope shit. I like all that rising moon shit.
I don't know if you've seen what Flacco's been posting with his birthday shit, where he's posting his page of the day, and it's like, I don't know if you read your page of the day, man, but that shit was like, It wasn't like, no, there's no way to generalize that specific. Like, it was way too much. Like, every paragraph was me to the letter. It was fucking weird. Okay? I mean, I'm reading this November 3rd shit. I don't remember exactly what it said, but yo, when I read it, I'm like, I can't argue with a word on this page. It is describing my personality. All the things that it's saying is true. I read the one from my girlfriend. I've been quoting this page at her now as an effective way to persuade her to do different things because it's so apt in the way that it described her, and it gave me a leverage point to use in the arguments. The book says you're going to be thrust into new positions, but everyone around you needs to recognize one day you're going to want out. And I'm like, yo, but the book says you're going to want out one day, and I just got to let you, so do it now. And it worked. I'm like, yo, Flacco's book is so, if you haven't, read the one on your fucking day. It's nuts. And then read the one on your partner's day.
My day's not for a while. Can you send me my day?
And then read the one on your partner's day, and that's where it's going to get really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I do our shit a lot. I do our numerology. I do our, because our signs aren't really supposed to be compatible. Cancer and Aries is like not really a sign that you ever hear about being compatible. And, we are, but it basically says that as long as you choose you have to choose each other. You have to choose to be together.
I was gonna say,
every day.
I got a lot of Cancer friends. But it's,
yeah,
I'm an Orthodox Aries. You know what I mean? Because I do finish things. Because I go about things a certain way that most Aries don't tend to go about them, and it's only because I know all these things. Because I know people are expecting me to be an Aries. And I'm just like, no, I refuse. I will not be like what you expect me to be. So, yeah, but she's right. All facts.
Yeah, this is amazing stuff, man. Again, people appreciate this. Yo, people don't know that what makes these interviews work is like the high degree of regular shit that we talk about. It's really what makes it fun, because it doesn't matter who you are. You're gonna care about your score. You can't live here and not have a horoscope chat. You don't even have to believe in it, but you can't. I remember in elementary school, for me, they would give out, like, it was part of like French class. To help us learn French, we would learn about the horoscopes and shit, and they would try to like do goofy shit like this. So like literally, from the time I'm like 7, 8, I've already been told what a Scorpio is. And in a sense, it's probably helped program my personality. Like, I believe there's definitely this psychosomatic component to it based on the conditioning of society. Like, not for everyone, but for myself. I've been told since I'm a fucking child I'm supposed to be a stubborn asshole because I'm a Scorpio. Like, literally from the time I'm like 6, 7, okay? And then I turned into a stubborn asshole. I'm like, I mean, yeah, maybe it's because I'm born on November 3rd. And I'm not willing to, like, I'm open-minded to this shit. That page was way too specific, okay? It was way too specific.
Yeah, when it gets specific, that's when it's like, it's like, why, how, it's just a little help, you know what I'm saying? It's just a little help to kind of assess yourself. Because, like, I feel the same way because I'm a Cancer. So my whole life, when it comes to horoscopes, people will be like, you're going to cry. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're a Cancer? Cry. It's like, nah, bitch. Like, but it's like, yes, I do fucking cry for sure, but I'm a lot more like rational and logical than a lot of my friends who are not Cancers. And like the way they made it seem is that we're like super emotional. So I like went kind of like against it. Like, nah, I'm not a typical. But the older I get, the more I'm like, yeah, I have a lot of Cancer traits, and I like them. I am very like motherly and intuitive and all those things like that. But it's like growing up, it just definitely felt like you're trying to play me, with this Cancer shit. But then I also found out about rising and moon signs. So I'm a Capricorn moon, which is emotions, and Capricorns are very like money thinking, logical, whatever. And I'm like, that makes sense because a lot of my emotions are tied into what I do. And my rising sign is Leo, which is fire sign. Fiery, and that's my ego. So, you know, I started learning a little bit about this. It's like, it makes a lot of things make sense even more for me. It kind of paints the complete picture because, not the complete picture, obviously, but like enough for me to be like, oh, okay, you know. And when I read it, if I'm like going through a bad day or whatever, and I could read it and be like, oh, maybe this is why, because fucking Uranus is moving backwards over there in the shape of this, and it's causing my shit to be out of whack.
I swear, every year people have been like that Mercury's in retrograde thing, right? And everybody's like, if you're feeling emotional, remember Mercury's in retrograde. So I've been feeling emotional, and I went on is Mercury in retrograde? It is. It's in retrograde till tomorrow. So I was like, maybe I've been feeling like a whiny wanker because Mercury's in retrograde. Do I understand it? No. But it totally made me feel better. And that was dope. It was dope to
Mercury in
I don't even know what it is.
Retrograde is like has to do with more with technology and the signing of paperwork, and like they say that this is when technology acts up, which makes sense. Right now is Mercury retrograde, and I was very scared of like releasing my song around Mercury retrograde. I'm like, what could happen, right? And then a blackout happened. Wow, Mercury's in retrograde, and a blackout happened. Didn't even think about that, but here we are. But yeah, technology acting up. I backed up all my shit on a hard drive from my computer because I'm like, Mercury retrograde and a blackout. Like, let me back my shit up. So yeah, definitely. It has to do with that. They say don't sign contracts around that time. Things can go wrong. People go back on shit. It's just like a bad time to like do those kind of things. But I'm like, yo, listen, if I fucking surround my time around whether or not Mercury's in retrograde, I'm never gonna put shit out. I'd be like, oh, it'd be in retrograde for like 2 months. What am I not supposed to do nothing for those 2 months? I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet. Like whatever, it is what it is, man. I just hope my computer, you know what I'm saying? I hope it makes
This is why Dama is incredible. This is why you're as cool as I think you are, right? Because you understand the shit that you're talking about, right? I'll be real. I'm not going to front like I know. I just literally Googled the Mercury retrograde thing like 2 days ago because I was like, is it a thing? I don't know. Maybe there's truth to this shit. I'm more open-minded than I was about it. I'm going to actually Google all this secondary sign stuff because I don't know fuck all. And I'm like, wait, I know I'm a Scorpio. What are all that other shit you're talking about? I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's something. I can't tell you. But I can tell you it's probably really interesting. And that sounds fucking dope. And you make it sound fucking interesting. You're just like spitting this shit. And you're not preachy about it, which is extra dope. Because some people's kind of like weird about it. You're just like, nah, this shit helped me. I'm like, whoa, I like things that help me. And that was a cool, attractive thing. Like, you're like, it helped me. I liked it. It's cool. I don't care that much about it, but it's useful. I'm like, that's a good framing.
Like a tool. It's a good tool.
That's a powerful way to frame it. You're real smart. You're like, real smart.
Thank you.
Nah. I know we got sidetracked from your shit. So you basically been banging out a bunch of stuff in COVID. You survived the Texas thing lately. What are your plans for? I know your single that you just dropped. You went through and made this really interesting music video. As I understand it, for your song, you are basically. So what I thought was cool is you don't want to, with like this little whiny inflection almost, like you don't want to have to go do this time or whatever, but you'll do it if you have to. And I loved just because like that little attitude that you put into that lyric and shit, like it just felt so human. It felt so like, yo, there are some little nuances you dropped in this track that are special that I don't know if everyone's going to catch. And like the way you used auto-tune is fucking fascinating, actually. I don't know if it was auto-tune, but to me it sounds like auto-tune because I'm ignorant to real mixing techniques. But like you used like this little like high-pitched point in one of your like mid-line melodies, and I was like, yo, that actually sounds super nice. And then the way you fuck it up at the end of the track, it's just fucking real nice. And it's like you create this ethereal experience on this tune where it really feels like Pixies and Fairies, which maybe I'm thinking about because of your music video. But like, well, then your branding is proper and shit. Like, yo, this shit was on point. Everything about this Dama is on point. Also, I don't know if you want to talk about your name rebranding, because I was there when you said that shit on the end of the week Zoom call, and it sounded like some profound shit you should put in the interview.
Absolutely. So I started writing songs in the last 5 years that fit under the motif of this gangsta bitch love songs. But I didn't know that that's what it was 5 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever, in these last 5 years. In this year, in 2020, that's what it like became. And it's because of that song. Yeah, that song, I wrote it the week after, like within the week of Vice passing, while we was in the Zoom every day, like 24 hours a day. Like we didn't know if we could leave the Zoom and it'll end. We needed to keep it going. Like we couldn't let go. So we had night shift and day shift. And I was a part of night shift. Ox and Angel was all part of night shift. And Craig had this beat. Craig made this beat and he sent it to his boy. He made it for his boy. All right. Shout out to Omeni who, but he made it for him. And I was like, in my head, I was like, yo, that's my beat. Like, he's not going to use that beat. Nobody's going to use that beat. Like, I willed it because that beat is fire. And it's like, he probably ain't even, I don't know if he heard it or not, and just didn't want it, whatever. That beat was for me. So I put a deadline on it, which I never did, and actually like fulfilled it. Because I was like, yo, if he don't send you back like some kind of like listen to the track, using the track shit in like a week or 2 weeks, whatever it was, I'm using it. And the time came at that time, and like that day or whatever, I was like, yo, I'm gonna write to it. I had that hook in my head. I don't want to get locked up for your love, and I never like said that on the track. Like I have this song that I wrote 5 years ago called "I Think About Him When I Trap," and I wanted to write more songs like that are like soft and ladylike, but saying some gangster shit. And like for your love, like was the perfect thing. Like when I wrote it, it was just perfection. And I was on the Zoom while writing it, and when I started recording it, I pressed record and the Zoom was still on speaker. So when you listen to For Your Love, you can actually hear the Zoom in the very beginning. And in one of the parts of the verse, like I kept it exactly where it was, where I accidentally recorded it, because it's this ingraining of like something so natural and so like an Easter egg. And it sounds cool. It adds a texture. It just like, and my engineer, when he first started mixing my shit, took it out. Obviously, he thought it was just background noise. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, no, you got to leave it in there. You got to bring that back, because it's the Zoom, and you hear Pro saying "I love y'all" on it. And it's like it means so much to me that there's so much meaning and shit ingrained in it. So that auto tune I did myself. We got Waves Tune plugins. Right before that time. So when I recorded it, I put it through the auto tune myself and did all like everything. And then that last part, I added like a ring shift to make it kind of do that back and forth, whatever. Like I put a bunch of effects on it, and it has this like how you said ethereal. Like that's the word I used to describe it, like on the video and when I described the song for sync licensing and everything like that. So yeah, I did all of that to my vocals, and I actually attempted mixing it myself, but then I ended up just sending all the tracks to A-May because he's fucking fire, and that would have taken me a long time to get. I would have never gotten to that sound. Like goddamn, that shit was crazy what he did to it. So that mix sounds crisp, and I was gonna do a video for it that was more talking about the locked up, like the visual being more related to the locked up part. But then one of our homeboys was here and he was listening to the song and he was like, nah, you got to do something like, you know what I'm saying? Like mythical, whatever. Like the words he was using, I don't really remember, but it was something along the lines of like, this is like wavy. You know what I'm saying? Like the video got to be wavy to match the waviness. And I was like, word. So it made me think of fairies. So it's like when you say think of fairies, maybe because the video, maybe not, because it really did make me think of fairies. And I never think of fairies. Like y'all see my videos a long time. I ain't really know fairies in none of them. But it made me think of fairies, and I'm like, yo, what if we bypass the whole being in jail and we escaping from jail? So we could be in the woods, running through a mythical forest, and we have fairies guiding us as like our higher selves, basically, our fairy selves, our witch selves, whatever, guiding us through this escape mission. While Craig, my man who I got locked up for his love, he's a fucking cop in the video, going through with a flashlight looking for us because we escaped. You know, me and my two homegirls, fellow convicts, and
I was
fellow
definitely
fairies.
like, yo, this sheriff gotta relax. He's gotta fall back, fam. Like you over here trying to capture me. Like, yo, what are you doing?
Get out. He pulls out the phone and you see that we was together. Like, you see the picture of us. Like, he pulls out the phone and you see that we're in a relate. Like, this is a double meaning of locked up for your love, because we're also in a relationship. And and like, we were together. I maybe ain't know he was a cop. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. But point being, you know, the fairies help us escape, guide us. Oh, shout out to Lady Earth and Solaris. I'm working on a project with Lady Earth. She's a dope, phenomenal artist. And Solaris is a tarot card reader, like just super spiritual woman who, you know, guides people and shit. She's dope. So look them both up. But yeah, so they ran through the forest with me. I was like, yo, I'm doing some fairy witch shit. I gotta have the fairy and the witch, and that's them all the way. So they pulled up, and yeah, we made that video, and like it was shot by Jazz Carter, who's a local dope videographer out here. So he made it, you know what I'm saying? He did exactly what I was picturing, and it just has that look and feel and everything like that. And I'm very, very, very proud of it. So yeah, I'm excited about this.
Yo, that's incredible. Honestly, I didn't even catch the part at the end of the video because, look, I'm not like the most active music video watcher. So I'm glad you said that bit at the end with the phone, because now I'm going to go back and watch the end of it. Usually the last like bit of a song, I'm like, click off.
It's not even at the end. It's in like the middle.
Oh, yeah, I totally missed it.
When he pulls out the phone.
Because this is just me being a bad music video watcher. I have like a shit ton of YouTube evidence of being bad at music videos. So I'm not even finding like I pay that much. I try, like I watch the general set, but then I'm like, and I just can't like focus on it very well. But in general, I still loved it. I watched it like 2 or 3 times and I missed it each time, so it's terrible on me. But I definitely like the song a lot, though. That song is like, yo, it's a really good one.
Dama is really just amazing and talented at like making like movies in her music videos. Like all her music videos are like these like amazing just pieces of art. You know what I mean? So like
I didn't
this is like in the same vein of the videos that she had before, when she did kind of like Thelma and Louise thing, and even when she did like a kind of what would you call that, Alice in Wonderland type with the queen.
Yeah, All Hail Dama. Yeah.
All Hail Dama. Yeah, like that had like a little bit of like Mad Hatter feel, and just things that is just like you add things to videos and you go harder again. It's that you care, you're trying. You know what I mean? Like that's something that people should take away from this and this interview is like care about what you do and put also, like care and time and consideration into it, and it'll come out a million times better than like taking the shortcuts.
But it's also like, yo, not everyone puts that level of effort into the branding. And that was the thing that really stuck out the most to me, because I'm a marketing guy. I can't help it. I go there.
Oh, I forgot to even mention that part. I straight up talked about For Your Love, but you asked me about the Dama, the brand, the rebranding.
Yeah, because but just before we get to that, yo, it's like you see the music video, you see the cover art, you see the little circles on the social medias, you see it all in cohesiveness. And it doubles and triples down on the value of reinstilling this desire to listen to this song. You do a lot of the little subtle things right with your visuals to create a cohesive, but it's also cool. Like, why is Dama looking like this fairy lady? That's interesting. It's not regular, you know? And that's like excellent done. Yeah. But yeah, we should definitely talk about the name change. But all that context you put in is going to make it sound extra special when you go to this next part.
Yo, it's crazy because I've been wanting to drop the nils from Dama Nils for a long time. Like, I don't even like saying it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just over it. So I wanted to drop the nils. And then when Vice passed, like I was spelling my name with the DV. You know, everybody was doing the V's in their name in honor of him in here. And I like just wanted to just change I figured with these new releases of like Gangsta Bitch Love and everything like that, I figured it was time for a rebranding, a change of the name, you know, just freshen everything up a little bit. And I put the V in it to honor Vice Versa's you know, and honor this time and this experience that we've been, you know, V's up for VZ, this experience that we've been having. So now it's DVMA, and you know, I wanted to do both at first, but then it looked too much like Craig was like, "Yo, it looks like DMV though," and I was like, "Yeah, you're right. It does look like DMV." So I'm just gonna change one to a V and one to a A. But and then this past what is it, like 4 months or something like that maybe, I signed a joint venture deal. Well, we signed a joint venture deal with Haymaker Cannabis, so we're now part of Haymaker Cannabis and Haymaker Music, and it's basically like a company deal instead of like an artist deal. So it's been fucking dope, and with their help we were able to execute this rebranding in a way higher way than I originally anticipated doing it, and like really up the scale and helped us out a lot. So, you know, it's been really dope seeing what I could look like and like feel like energy wise, because you already had the video shot and everything like that, the song recorded, like I was ready with that, but it's like those visuals, those photos. Shout out to Christopher Michael in Dallas and Bug Eye Betty over here. She was the creative director for that shoot for the photographs that we used, and yeah, so it was like a whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Good animators, good Photoshop users.
So you're
like
saying
it takes
a lot of this came though because you already had a great presentation in place and it was attractive enough to elevate. Is that what I'm understanding?
Oh, I mean, I didn't have those pictures in place.
No, but you
I
said you shot the
definitely
video, you had the song.
the video, yeah, the song, yeah.
But
I mean, it's like
no, because
luck is preparation meets opportunity,
right,
right?
but that's where I was going
So
with this, right? Because I mean, it's like you got this elevation, which happened, which we're giving the shout out to, but I think everybody also needs to hear the part that you were ready for that opportunity to come through with it. Yo, one of the people watching has to dip out and just wants to know, what's a female artist that inspired you?
Missy Elliott,
Cool.
all the way, rapper, producer. I'm all about that. I'm a producer too, and you know, DJ and all of that. Doing like Missy Elliott gets left out of a lot of conversations, or did before this time period, as a female artist, because she's not considered like a female artist. She's just considered like Missy Timbaland, Aaliyah, like Virginia style sound international artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I love Missy, and she's great.
She is great. She's really well done. Yeah, it's not. I don't usually ask a lot of questions like that, but I mean, Lindell is there, and he's been around for years, watching and supporting. So
That's what's up.
that's why we gotta
That's
ask the
what's up.
questions. Oh, Ismail jumped in. He's another big supporter for a long time. He wants to know: do you plan to do a beat tape?
As a producer, no, that's not something I plan to do. I got a lot of dope producers around me, and I definitely did the beat challenge and won when I did it. But I'm not really like into
Do
making beats.
you want to talk about the beat challenge?
Yes, for sure.
Because if you give us like a 5-minute little video promoting that, we can turn that into a clip that makes it easier for me to send to people when I explain it. Because I'm bad at explaining the beat challenge and making it sound cool. So if you can make it sound cool, that would be blessed.
All right. Hold on, let me send my light up. EO Beat Challenge, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Right now we're taking a break. We finished season 1, but it's a weekly beat producer challenge, which sends out 3 samples, a song, a movie clip, and a weird sound. And the producers have to use all 3 in their beat. And then they compete. And judges, which is half the show, kind of give them honest feedback and judge them based on creativity, presentation, song ability, which is like, can we make a song to this, and bop, which is like the unknown it factor. So it's really in-depth feedback to the producers. And then 2 of them go head to head off camera for half an hour while we discuss and play the B-sides, other beats people made, whatever. They go for half an hour and we give them a BPM change. Like they're basically doing round 2. where they have to reflip the same sample, and then we get a winner. So we do that a bunch of times until we come to the semifinals and finals. But right now we're taking a break before season 2, so we're doing weekly scrimmages. So Souls at Soul for Souls on Instagram is basically running the EO Beat scrimmage, sending out the samples, hosting the show. So reach out to him or reach out to EO Beats Challenge Instagram if you want to get involved. If you're a producer, if you know any producers, you know what I'm saying? Pull up, show us what you got. Because this is real feedback. Like this. I see a lot of beat competitions online, and the reason I'm so passionate about, I don't want to put them in quotes and like disrespect them, but the reason I'm so passionate about the EO Beat Challenge is that everybody in the moment that you're playing your beat is listening to your beat with their whole heart and soul. And there's mad producers in there that will be like we all like share drum kits and advice and programs and whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just a valuable producer community. So, you know, it's definitely dope to get involved.
So just to summarize that, you're gonna get 3 kinds of samples that you're gonna have to flip into a beat and make it dope. And I've seen that this can go in a lot of directions with the same samples, which makes it like extra super crispy and fun to watch if you're not a beat maker.
Nobody ever makes the same beat.
And keep in mind, if you can't, as a consumer or watcher, watch the live, the shit's all on YouTube after the fact, so you can still bump it if you can't be there in the live, like myself, because I'm unfortunately not able to be there. But then you like jump into the part where you have a bunch of expert people that are sharing knowledge on how to improve your craft. And are you able to list some of the people that are involved in this to kind of hype it up and give an examples of who's involved?
For sure. I mean, Flaco Bayo is a frequent judge. The main people that make it happen is Souls, Nunzio, and myself. Nunzio is also a frequent judge in the show, and he used to work for Bad Boy. Like, he was in Daddy's House. He worked on Life After Death. His ear is like high value. Like, that's a high value fucking ear. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely is in there. Big Two, who's the founding member.
I'm sorry.
Nah, go ahead.
He gives invaluable like the type of advice that I've literally seen producers like get like judged, and then the very next week like he'll like recommend things to them like, yo, I saw what you did. Like, he sees things, he hears things that producers do that they want people to hear and know. But most of us don't know any of this stuff. So, like, how would we even be able to, you know, like, even me as an artist, like, I don't know most of the things that producers are talking about. But Nunzio knows as an engineer. And so when he gives, like, judgment, it's, like, from actually knowledgeable standpoint. And he's always really fair. And then he gives advice to them. And, like, he gives them recommendations on things to do. And every time somebody takes really specific advice, and every time somebody takes his advice and they come back the next week with the additional like advice tool, they're immediately like, yo, thank you so much. You like super helped me out.
And they've already improved as a producer.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you think about it, when people give advice in these kind of programs and any other way, a lot of the time it's very vague. Like, yo, it could use more energy.
Oh my
like,
gosh,
yo,
I relate to this heavy.
You know, like, I can't stand that. I don't think that's real in any sense of the word. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, like, you know, me and Baxter host a show every Monday called Aight So Boom. And we do a segment on it called Destructive Criticism, where we give feedback. And our shit is fucking specific. And a lot of times we hate what we see because we get it on these Facebook groups where it's like somebody that you're looking at them and you're like, bro, like, you should not be making rap songs like or in videos. Like, this is like, that really exists, and we're not scared to say it. So we talk about it and give that feedback, and that feedback helps me just as an artist to not make the kind of songs that that I don't want to have that feedback on. But it needs to be specific. You know what I'm saying?
Do you hear what she just said?
Like,
in the process of scrutinizing and looking at other art, even art that is bad, you're able to extract tips on how to not make those mistakes, which is, you know, how many people don't listen to trash shit to figure out why it's trash?
Yep.
Yo,
and like, think about the things that like you don't want to the feelings that you never want to evoke from people, you know. And I know that I've not thought about that in all the videos that I make. So sometimes I'll watch an old video of mine and I'll be like, you know what I'm saying? If I was watching this like outside of myself, it doesn't evoke all positive feelings for me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to, but you know, I take notes and I'll be like, nah, you're not doing that. Like next time, let me be a little bit more like this, you know? And it takes time and like really looking at trying to look at yourself from a different perspective to like get to that point. But yeah, like feedback in the beat challenge is like, Nunzio always talks about how much hats you need to use, what kind of hats you need to use, what kind of EQ you could have did. You know what I'm saying? The conversations that we have in there are very technical and sound related, very just specific. So
and it's a competition, but it's more of a community that
Love
like
it. That's
is
what I was
very
hoping to
very
hear.
very encouraging, very encouraging. Like even myself, who like I'm really critical, but like I just find myself like listening to stuff there with more of an open ear and just like not so critical. Like everything always feels really dope. I mean, maybe it's that we've been blessed and all the producers really are bringing their best foot forward and their A game. And like, that's why it's been so pleasurable the entire time to judge, because like nobody brings anything bad to the table. Everybody comes with some really good like work. So it's definitely like a community that like producers should like endeavor to delve into and try to get acclimated with, because these people are really like helping out other producers.
Yeah.
And it's a dope community.
And why I appreciate this is because honestly, I'm gonna meet a lot of producers in the next while of my life in light of certain things I'm doing. I'm up to 17 people that I could message right now, and I tried to explain the challenge to them, and I just don't know how to make it sound compelling, right? Like it's like I don't speak producer. I don't have the right language. I can be like, yo, it's a thing. It's dope. They're cool. And like I can't do it justice. Now I can be like, yo, check this link. And they're going to be able to see your passion, hear all y'all talking about it. And that'll be way more
And they
effective.
win prizes too. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? If it's about compelling them, they definitely win prizes. And when we come back with season 2, it's going to be a little bit more. We're trying to make it tighter than last season. Last season was dope as fuck, but we're trying to just evolve the show a little bit. So we'll be back with season 2 pretty soon. We were supposed to be planning that already, but this winter storm shit kind of fucked me up.
Yes. Last season, you guys gave away some pretty valuable equipment. Like
we gave away a machine micro. Thanks to Souls, we gave away $200 gift card. We gave away Liddy Bros package. Even though Jess won and he's a part of the Liddy Bros, so it's like here's your package, my G.
Nah, he gave the runner up got it.
Oh yeah, Ruler Y.
Yep.
Okay.
Those Liddy Bros packages are real fucking Liddy, bro.
Facts. That's good merch.
Yeah, no, that's an impressive endeavor. Don't worry, we have an unboxing of a Liddy Bros pack coming soon to entice you for what that looks like, for those that don't know what it is. But I got one of these. I got one over here, so definitely have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dama, I appreciate you so much. You know, you're so incredible. So you have an album coming,
Thank you, bro.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
When is your album coming? Because we hyped up so much shit for your single, right? But I remember you saying it's an album coming, so we now got to segue that into getting people hyped up that there's that much more Dama dropping.
Yes, I have an album coming called Gangsta Bitch Love Songs. It's dropping before the summer, so probably like May, June. I'm going to be dropping another single before I drop that with a video. Whew, I'm very excited. Craig produced the majority of it, so we got a track on there too. And there's a track that like I wrote on the guitar that like Craig and my homie Andrew from out here came out and played instruments on it. And it's like a whole band production. So I'm very excited about it. It's dropping before the summertime. Gangsta Bitch Love Songs, baby. Volume 1. Let's get it. Woo!
That's super dope. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's anything else that you want to touch on at this time. I mean, it's about 9 o'clock. I don't know how much later you want to run this. I mean, usually people want to wrap up.
I'm chilling, man. Yeah. Yeah, we could wrap it. I mean, basically everything that I'm doing right now.
It's up to you. I just don't know what your endpoint is. So that's why I was also like, is it like she gonna drop that I gotta go in 10 minutes type thing, or I don't know.
Nah, I'm chilling, man. Ain't nowhere to go. We in the blizzard.
Yeah, that's
I mean, the
dope.
blizzard's over, but you know what I'm saying.
Awesome.
Scary
so
out
I'm
there.
not
We're
gonna
trying
lie.
to live in this electricity.
I do need to pee real bad, so I'm gonna go do that really quick. But I don't have.
This is like a part of your show. You need a segment.
That's where
thing
Flacco
that's
comes
like
in.
pee break.
And that's when Flacco starts talking.
I'm always here. Always back it up. Back it up when he got to take the bathroom break.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to rush you off. I was really just trying to see if you had to go anywhere. But I'm
chilling, man.
Dope. But I'll be right back.
Yeah. So Dama.
Yeah, we in the building, man.
We in the building. Big facts. So, with the album coming, like, it's gonna be under this name change. Did you want to like reveal any like cool things that people could expect that they probably wouldn't be expecting?
Well, it's basically a story. It's a gangsta bitch love story. You know, in an era where women are basically told that they shouldn't give a fuck and, you know, sit on his face, take his money and keep it pushing and don't catch feelings. You know, it's kind of the world we live in right now. So for me, it's like, I do care. I do give a fuck. And I will dead punch a bitch right in her fucking jawline if she ever violates. And you as well. And I don't want to get arrested for it, but I will if I got to. Take that how you will. So basically, when I started breathing in that, all these kind of stories started coming out. So I have a song called Sexually Transmitted Demons. That shit is crazy. I'm probably rapping the most on that song than anything else. And I'm talking about how, you know, when you like doing yourself dirty basically and like letting anybody in your sexual energy, like you get sexually transmitted demons and then you don't know why you're depressed, but here you are. But the way the song is, it ain't no preachy shit. It's a song, you know. So whatever. I don't want to say no fucking giving you the pill in a whatever, but it's fire.
That sounds amazing. I mean, I see Sammy reacting over there.
It's like a whole arc.
It sounds like she. It looks like she's like this is my like what? What are we talking about? Absolutely, we've experienced that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole character arc, you know. It starts with the crush and you know, getting to know, falling in love, being in a relationship, having shit happen, questioning the relationship, becoming a cold-hearted bitch where you don't give a fuck, becoming a bitch that maybe like is going crazy on some psycho shit, like all the gangster bitch in love stages. Even when you're lying, whether you're being honest or lying to yourself, it's like all the phases of it. So it's like a continuous kind of story, and I feel like it's really gonna resonate with all the gangster bitches out there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sammy C. We in the building.
It's really dope that it's the real shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the real things that happen. So, you know, you're holding it down.
Facts. Definitely. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about everybody hearing the songs. I've been recording nonstop, like ready to get back to it.
I have a question that we completely skipped. You're in Austin now, right?
Yes.
And you were in like New York the entire story, but you're in Austin now. And I feel like we somehow skipped over an entire part where you jumped from like New York to Austin.
Right? I feel like there's just so much, man. Like the behind the music of the E True Hollywood Story is we're gonna have to leave some things out. There's a lot, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit that's gonna end up on the cutting room. But yeah, Austin. I moved here in 2017. I was in New York. I was in Brighton Beach, and I was living in Washington Heights, and I didn't have a good situation. And then I ended up basically staying at my homegirl's house for a hot minute, and I definitely like wanted to have my own place. And New York was just like bad for me at that time, and I needed to leave New York. And all like God and all his angels conspired to get me to Austin by any means necessary. Like I had like a job lined up, like a gig for South by Southwest. I was just gonna come out here and work and make some money and go back, because it was like winter storms in New York. You know, it was like March, so blizzards every day, all the northeasterns. And it was a blizzard the day I left. They was about to cancel all the flights. I caught one of the last flights out because my friend D, my homeboy's mom, really, she was like, I was gonna stay with her, and I was like, yo, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Like this blizzard, things getting canceled, da da da. I didn't have a flight. I had a ride. I was gonna drive out there, but homeboy completely flaked. Then I was trying to get a bus. Dub, like I was trying to get out there by any means necessary, but she bought me a ticket and I came down here. And then I ended up just staying because I've been out here for a few years for South by Southwest, and I always loved it. And I was like, I want to move there one day. You know, nicer weather, it's warm. You know, people seem cool. You know, it was cool. So I ended up just staying, and it was so easy to make money. And I just kept on hustling. Got a job working at a bar, and that's where I met Craig. And I found out that he makes beats, and we became friends. And, you know, then we got into a relationship of so many things, a musical partnership, a business partnership, and a romantic one, like all kind of, you know, happened very organically, naturally, one by one. You know, we would just DJ together, whatever. And then I've been living here ever since. We made a group, Spy Coastal, put out songs, videos. And now he's the main producer of everything I do. So
that's beautiful.
It's very, yeah, it's awesome.
No, I'm a romantic. I love all that shit. So it's like a movie. You're basically.
Me too.
Like, it's like a chick flick. I don't know if that's a bad term, but it's what it reminds me of. But like
totally.
But like a good one.
No, not even a chick flick.
More like a drama, a romantic drama.
It's like a country song. You know what I'm saying? Like I was working in a bar in a shitty part of town. He was the boy next door, working in the bar next door, you know, come outside, smoke a cigarette or something, or whatever, see each other from down the way type shit. It was definitely a movie, especially in Texas, because it's beautiful. Ooh, let me switch to this.
No worries.
I could tell you as a friend, as your brother, like definitely love that you found your happiness with Craig. You know what I mean? Like super, super happy for you, because that shit is
for sure
a really fulfilling feeling to have in your life, and it gives you that much more to work with in every other aspect of life. You know, that like happy home.
I just think it's cool that y'all
definitely
work together. Like to me, that's super important. Like I don't know, when I pitched my girlfriend getting involved in my shit, I was like, I have a prediction. If you're involved in my shit, you're not gonna hate being involved in my shit. When down the line, this is my entire consumption in life. And now we're at the point where I live and die this shit. This is all I talk about. This is like it, and she knows it. She can keep up with the conversation. She can watch these interviews and follow the rapper names and the stories, and it's all context, and she understands that shit.
Oh, that's so dope.
Yeah, she actually started rapping on this freestyle thing we started. We started a cypher, and we got her to write some 16s, so she wrote a 20. And it's like she started busting little rhymes.
Shit.
She started dropping like real like rap. Like she dropped Ice Cube bars and then dropped something about like no lube and entering you. And we were like, yo, this is she's going to stab me.
Oh, shit.
Like she's hard.
That's what's up.
So I'm telling you that if you drop this tone, I'm like, yo, my girlfriend would eat your fucking album up. Like you'd be like a robot. You could probably help me convince her to rap.
Yo, I hope so, man. I hope so, because it's great. Yeah. Hell yeah, that's dope. That's dope too. Like, I feel like I'm not the type of person to be like to encourage couples to do things like that, because it's like to each their own. But if you are that type of person that is all consumed, it's good to have
to be all consumed in the same thing together. You know, so we work together. We work together doing a lot of things. We work together like making donuts in a food truck. We work together like outside of Walmart handing out hot dogs. Like we done mad gigs together. And then we started doing like more DJ gigs.
Yeah, that's that power
we was just making our little bank and shit, and then we started DJing together, and then we opened up a whole company together because we're like, yo, we're making money DJing, like let's really do this. So now we have a company together.
That's blessed.
Obviously all that DJing shit went out the window during COVID, but we did that shit for a hot minute. We did virtual reality. We used to travel the whole country doing virtual reality. Like it's fun. It's awesome. I can't even imagine any other way.
You just said my favorite.
We did like parties. Like it was a virtual reality rental company that is called Virtual Reality Rentals. So they used to fly us around the country and do parties and corporate events with VR. Set up a little system, put it on people's heads. Got to go to New York mad times in 2019, early 2020 because of that. I was there like all the time. We were both there. Whenever like the mood
really
struck.
Fucking
because
cool.
we had points.
I didn't know that VR was being people were like, so like, was it fun VR or was it boring corporate VR?
No, it was mad fun. It's games. But it's like, for us, it's like we're just kind of setting people up with it and showing them how to use it. For them, it's like they're doing it at a party. So yeah, it's fun. It's like whatever, little games and shit.
But the bigger implication is that corporations are willing to put up money to make that a spectacle as a high-end thing to be cool about, which shows where VR is entering into in the market sphere of things, right? Like, because I've been trying to, I'm watching the VR trend. It's not where I want it to be because I'm a super geek about this shit. I'm watching Outspace VR. If I could convince people, we'd all be busting raps in virtual reality right now, but, like, it's been a hard sell.
For sure.
The hardest sell of my life, I'm not gonna lie. But it's also because there's no audience. The audience is all kids, so I'm like, shit, I don't even know if I want to go rap to 8-year-olds. That's kind of weird, just because I'm not really the kind of guy that should be rapping for 8-year-olds. So I'm kind of waiting for grown-ups to get up on their shit, personally. That's really what I'm waiting for. Once there's an adult audience up in that room, oh my gosh, it'll be so fucking lit to me. And the fact is like, if corporations are trying to make it lit, oh man, like that's interesting in a way I wasn't expecting you to say, because I don't know a lot about that side of life. I'm not really. My company is getting inflatable rides. We're not getting VR shit.
Yeah, VR shit was definitely a nice bag for sure. That was a cool time.
That's fresh though.
That's cool. I like playing that shit. And they have the little the game where you walk off the plank. And it's like virtual reality plank, and you feel it. Like there's an actual plank in real life. So when you step off of it, even though you're on the ground, like you feel it. And some people bust their ass and fell. Virtual reality is crazy. I definitely think it should be ahead of where it is, but I'm also scared of it being much more ahead. So I'm comfortable of it being where it is.
The one thing I can say in defense of VR is I got to work on my my pec muscles with virtual reality boxing games. So I have the VR headset, and I live in an apartment, and COVID kicked in, and I lost weight because I was able to literally punch air. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's fun. It's like fucking DDR or Guitar Hero, but boxing shit. But yo, you're busting sweats and shit by the end of it. And I realized when I got my VR headset, I was not in shape enough to play VR video games, to be real with you. And I needed to work on my upper body strength. So if I were to be able to, because I want to play Skyrim and shit in VR. Like, that's dreams, okay? Like, when the new Elder Scrolls comes out in virtual reality, I want to play that shit and fucking swing swords around. But sure, that means you need upper body strength, right? And so, like, I got really incentivized by VR to get into better physical health so I could participate in VR, because you can't even participate in that shit if you're out of shape. So it's got this weird health implication. Yeah. I've been telling all the dudes I know that are kind of lazy, like, yo, bro, like, trust, tell your wife, man, this shit will get you in better shape, my guy. And trust, you're going to do this. You're not going to the gym. We never did. But you make it a video game. Watch how we start moving.
You ever seen the Omnisphere? Where it's like the... we used to have the Omnisphere as an option too, but I think we only did that a couple times, but we played it. And, if you walk around and there's like a gate kinda, and it's kind of like a treadmill, but the walking on it isn't natural. It's not like this. It's like this. You gotta like lean on to that barrier. But it's crazy. Like we did a zombie fighting game, so you're really running. So that shit works you out. Like you're sweating. Like if you did that every day, you would definitely like.
But it's
definitely
like,
see results.
And it's mad fun, so you end up wanting to do this shit, right? It's not like other shits where it's boring. Like, I don't know. It's like, yo, I realized too with this boxing shit, it got me to be a better dancer because it's all the music and it's all to the beat. So you start going and punching to the rhythm, and that's like forcing all of your body to start getting into a more rhythmic kind of flow. So now I'm just feeling mad cocky about dancing and shit because I spent a year accidentally learning how to move my body, even squats and shit. Like, I'm able to like drop down and do shit I never thought I would because you just have to squat on beat to the rhythm. Otherwise, you're going to lose points. You're like, fuck that. I need to get 2,400 combo this time. You get really gamified with this shit. So you get really, and the next thing you know, you're like, holy shit, I'm not lazy anymore. I'm like, I'm down to fucking move now. You're like, I can't even sit still proper, you know? Like,
facts.
And that was honestly, people can say what they want, but it was a Fitbit in VR and a bicycle that got me to where I'm at. Okay, I bought an elliptical too. So I needed an elliptical.
Technology, man, is there for a reason. Like, it's all tools. You're utilizing it the right way. Yeah. Some people get all those things and never actually use them.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
It's about going through.
That's true. I've been kind of lazy lately, but I've also been, life's been different lately. But in general, I got into running though, and then winter kicked in. Running is dope.
I hate running.
I don't know.
I hate running. I do weights and shit, but I know I'm supposed to do it, and I do it sometimes, but like that's like probably my least favorite of all the things. Besides like that HIIT cardio, certain ones of those that I'm like, oh, I fucking hate this shit. Please stop.
So like running is cool if you like watching scores go up fast, because you're gonna go from 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers fast. Or I mean
with
Canada.
The Fitbit, right?
No, but just
right.
no. Even without it, just your incremental running is one of those things where if you do it safely and properly, like you gotta Google that shit, because apparently if you fuck up your knees, it's like it's not your like muscles, it's your knees and shit that you gotta worry about.
Yeah, I can't afford to do that.
But if you
ask me about it.
But if you do that shit like safe, right?
Like I don't want. I already when I was like 20, 21, we got into a car accident with Souls, and ever since then I had like one bad knee that I don't like. I need to be on top of, man. If I can't do nothing, I'm be like a little bit older talking about my bad knee. I can't do that. I can't go up them steps on account of my bad knee.
But it's mad easy to do it safe. It's like you Google it and they're like, okay, do this, and then you build it up. And then honestly, within 3 months, anybody can double what they fucking can do. And there's almost nothing else you can do in exercise that you can double your performance as quickly as running, which is fucking insanity for me because it motivated me. Like, yo, I started like posting this shit on Facebook and people started to be like, yo, weren't you just at like 4 kilometers? Yo, you're doing this many. And I'm like, yo, I'm not doing that many, but hold up. Like, it's nuts, man. And it's actually just, it's not. And then you know what I do? I just put on podcasts. I'm just fucking running around this fucking track listening to podcasts and it's blessed. And I learned so much about ancient history that nobody really cares about really, but it was so interesting. There's 15 hours of running around this track listening to ancient history, dude. It's a blessed time.
Man.
It's just, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You have to get into it, right? Like.
I feel you, bro.
Like, oh, wow. That's something I would so not be into.
Yo, that's fair.
I know. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm into that. I listen to podcasts and do weights, though.
No, I respect that.
I'm on my workout shit.
But I'm not into weights.
Like, oh, wow. You know, I just have such a sarcastic face that people think I'm being sarcastic when I'm not. Like, I'll be like, yo, that's dope. They'll be like, oh, word, that's dope. You fucking making fun of me. I'm like, no, I just said that's dope. I just have a fucking one of those. I have a crooked face. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was looking at,
I've seen the look in your eye when you have the other version of, nah, you didn't have that look in your eye. So I was like,
yeah.
Not me. I'm not selling you on running, but you just you do. Like, I don't do weights. I'm not into it. I've tried weights. I don't fucking care for weights. It's not interesting to me. I try push-ups.
I love weights.
So like I respect the shit out of that. But like, yo, to me it's like just dope that like, you know, you're even promoting health. That's fucking cool. Like, yo, Sammy's in this room. Sammy's all about that health shit. If anybody ever needs health shit stuff, Sammy's the master at that.
Shout out Holden. I respect that. You know, we here.
But
Facts.
No, so it's
Appreciate
cool.
that.
But like, I don't know. I'm just into it. Like, I don't know. Ishmael's saying push-ups are fun. I find push-ups the most boring shit in the world. Honestly.
You know what I started liking lately? Burpees. Even though they're like the worst, I love burpees now. I love burpees. Cause you body 100 burpees. If you do like you do 100 burpees a day, or
I guess I could get to that.
Or even if you do like 60 burpees a day, it'll just take a little bit longer. But you do 60 burpees a day for a couple of weeks, you're gonna see results. And if that's all you do, you're gonna see results. Like, you're gonna drop weight like that. It's mad good. It's just an all around good exercise. And I used to hate them, but now I love them.
Sorry, I got distracted.
It's like some kind of Stockholm syndrome. Fucking, I like burpees now.
Yeah,
but I appreciate the challenge element of that, right? Because if I think about what you're saying, it's almost like it was shitty and then it got easy. Yo, that's some shit that I fuck with too. I like to do really hard things sometimes in my life just because when it's done, it's like, yo, I did the hardest thing I could do. And that I can fuck with. As you were saying it, actually, I first went, oh my gosh, burpees would be bad. But then I thought about everything I was just saying about fucking boxing and shit. I'm like, you know what? Burpees would be really shitty for about 5 weeks. And then I don't think it would be ever shitty again. And I might even have better, like, skills.
Yeah. Burpees definitely do that.
And you can do those at home.
You learn, during like this quarantine shit and everything has really like evolved all of our minds or whatever the case is. But it also like lets you know, it kind of lets you know, are you the type of person that's going to take this time to like have an excuse to be lazy and like not do anything? Or, I'm not talking about people that are just incapable for whatever other other reason, but just in general, like, don't bullshit a bullshitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to take this time to be lazy, or are you going to take this time to do some self-improvement that you couldn't do before because you're like, yo, I'm working, or,
oh my gosh, preach it.
whatever reason that you had to do it now. So now you don't have that reason anymore. And it's like, if the gym is closed, then what are you going to do? You're going to have a reason to not go to the gym, not work out, and just not do it at all? Or you're going to figure out a way to just do it?
But it's even like, it's more than just the gym. It's like your whole life, right? Like, yo, a lot of people were just given this gift of time. And then a lot of people started telling me about how bored they were. And I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone or be negative about it. But, like, I do not understand how you could be bored at this time with Skillshare and all this other shit that exists. It's like, yo, $10 a month and you get access to unlimited education. When I say unlimited, I mean, I don't think any of us could watch all the shit that's on there. That's how much shit is on there if you pay that. And for free, there's shit. Even if you don't want to pay that $10, there's still like Coursera. That shit's free. You only have to pay for certificates. But it's entire fucking courses with schools and peer-reviewed shit. It's all fucking free. How are people bored? Like, that's what I don't understand.
I don't even understand. I can't even, like, at this point in time, like, I had to dig into my mind to see when the last time I was bored was, because I can't even relate to that feeling, like, in the last however long it's been, because bored, like, I can't even fathom it. But before, like, when I think about it, like, when we used to like travel for work and shit, and like you're out of town in a place where there's nothing to do and you don't have your computer with you, or you can't do what you need to, like, whatever, like, and you just kind of sitting there like, yeah, it could be boring, you know what I'm saying? You're by yourself, like, you're just watching something, but you don't really watch something, like, you're just bored. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it, I get the feeling. But if you're in your house and you have any type of access to, if you're a creative person creating, I can't really tell people what to do that aren't creative and don't have that in them. But I think everybody has some kind of creativity in them. Like, if you're like a left brain person who works in a corporate job and then you're home all the time and you're bored, take up something like making something, whatever, clothes, art. Because it's like boredom. It's like, why?
No, but like,
if I'm watching TV or even doing nothing, I'm in my head. If I'm doing nothing, I'm in my head enough to not be bored. And then it'll get scary in there. I'm like, I need to get distracted. Let me get out of there.
So like my girlfriend is not the most.
You know what I'm talking about, Sammy? Yo.
My girlfriend's not the most creative person like that. I mean, she's creative, but she's not like a creative like that. You know what she did? She got into birds. She started to identify all the birds in the backyard. She started studying their habits. Like, if you're really out of shit to do, look out your fucking window. She knows all about the kid next door's habits. She can tell me all about the fantasy world of this kid next door that he invented. I'm like, yo, why do you know this? She's like, I'm just sitting here. I'm listening to it. What else am I, because it's just playing in the background of this shit. And I'm like, my girlfriend was able to engross herself into literally what goes on out the fucking window rather than be bored. And that impressed the shit out of me.
That's the original social media, man. Out your window and your neighbor's window.
So it's like, I mean, look, I know that some people are bored, etc., etc. I don't fully understand it personally either. Like, maybe it's also because I like to fill my time. I also plan recreation, right? Like, I don't just like plan work. I like, oh, yo, like Friday nights actually is now scheduled cyberpunk time. Like, yo, this is like, I know what I'm gonna play video games ahead of the time in the week and shit. So it's not like I'm ever bored. I know what I'm gonna do most of my day, most days of the. It's the only way to operate in. At a certain sphere, right? You have to know about it, and you have to plan rest too. Like, that's why I don't get it. Like, why don't you just plan Netflix time? Just plan it. Just put it in your fucking calendar. Say, I'm gonna fucking watch TV at this time.
People, it's scary how lost people could be. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Craig keeps me really grounded when it comes to that, because I could get lost in my phone, and like a lot of people just can live in their phone. Like, there's people that could spend the whole day on TikTok, and I know because I've pretty much came close to doing that before.
I want to front like I haven't wasted an hour on TikTok because a challenge existed, and I want to watch 700 people do the same dance.
Yo, it's crazy. Like, you really got to like peel yourself back from it and be like, let me chill out. Let me chill. Because there's a serotonin effect. It's like this instant gratification serotonin that you get from the interactions on social media and these quick bites of, something that's serotonin boosting, whether it's funny or whatever, interesting, however. But it's not like sustainable. So you got to kind of reset, because you really I sometimes could feel my brain turn into mush when I'm like too engulfed in TikTok for too long, and I get off of it, I'm like, oh, my head feels foggy. So I can imagine somebody that's like really from a younger generation that's kind of raised more on screens could get lost in it all day and not even realize like the difference between their head being foggy or not foggy, or does their head even get foggy? Like,
my head.
I don't know, because I really feel the reaction to it.
I mean, I used to just get that reaction from, like, I don't know, being online on MSN Messenger when I was younger. I used to, like, live on MSN Messenger, and it had a similar kind of impact to me as social media did. I think the effect existed pre-social media. It just got amplified with social media. Yo, you remember, like, having 18 conversations? How are you running 18 conversations at once? I'm not hyperbolically stating that. I would run, like, 18 to 20 chats at a single time. There would be moments where literally 7 incoming, and you just did it just nonstop dinging in your ears. And then when it goes away, you feel this rush of depression almost, because why is nobody messaging me anymore? What happened? And maybe it's just because it's 11 p.m. and I should be in fucking bed and everyone else is being responsible and shit, but your brain doesn't register it when you're young. And that was just MSN Messenger and shit, I know ICQ pre-existed that. Then you have all those Habbo hotels and all that other shit that existed. Like, there's a lot of ecosystems that did this to people for time. It's not even new. It's just amplified.
Time is the most valuable asset. It's like your eyes being on the screen is currently the most valuable asset that a company could buy.
Facts.
It's why companies buy into things like TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, and they're all competing for your attention at once, giving you notification after notification, because they've already made the correlation between that notification and that serotonin, and how it's addictive because it gives you so little, but you need more. And it's like, that's why social media is the kind of thing where you're like, all right, just this much more. This many things more, and I'll stop, So it's a
I had
it's
to like make
it's a
real
trip.
rules for that shit. Like I know that everything
You have to.
everything I post before 9 in the morning is probably not in my heart is not in the right place before 9 in the morning. And I
Oh my
delete
God.
80% of it. Sometimes shit goes through and I'm like, phew, but I have to actually go back at like 11 and proofread everything I posted in the morning and hope I didn't say anything too stupid. And this is to this day with all of my maturities and shit. I'm sitting there, I wake up, I check my phone, and this is a mistake, and I try not to, but fuck it, I'm an addict, I know what it is. Dopamine, right? Like, it makes you an addict to this shit. Gotta check it in the morning. Did I get 57? You know, like, you know, because sometimes you get these like days where like, yo, you drop some shit, and for some reason it's like relative viral. It's not really cool. It's just instead of getting like this many likes, you got that many, and you got that many more comments, and then you wake up and so I check my phone just in case, and it's fucking weird. I'm like, yo, like, what am I doing? I should be reading a book or some shit like that, which is probably a better use of my time, and then I get lost in social media. Yo, somebody's gonna hit me up with something, and the second there's somebody, you see a Flacco Bayo post in the morning, it's done. You're not going to fucking like pay attention to productive shit. He's going to say some shit that makes you go Google some shit. And then you go down some rabbit hole. And maybe it's a good rabbit hole, but maybe it's a complete waste of time. No offense, Flacco. Sometimes it's like I lose time on that shit. That's just what it is. It's not my good use of time. It could be somebody else's good use of time. And so, I try not to even do it in the morning when I'm disciplined. Don't even open my phone until I have to.
Yeah, I try to too, honestly. Because that's the most important part. If I don't start my day with it, I'm going to keep my day with it at a distance. And honestly, when I'm posting and doing shit to promote and all that, I feel like I use Instagram less.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Feels like
because I feel like I'm using it for a reason and I'm like really engaging on it. When I'm just scrolling on it, it's like, what am I doing?
Because
You know what I'm
there's
saying?
effort
Like,
to
why am I
posting.
here?
You have to think about hashtags and shit. Yo, posting sucks. It's so much. It's work.
I like posting. If I got something good to post.
Yeah.
This last run of posts has been nice.
That's the same for me, where I just feel like, I don't know. I don't find as much pleasure in IG as everybody else.
Fair enough.
I like IG. It's probably
I was expecting him to not go on mute and get up at that moment.
Yo, he just like said, yo, I don't really like IG as much as everyone else. Peace. Dipped.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like,
yo, bro, you don't have to like IG, man.
That was the most mic drop moment. But yeah, I get it though, because IG and shit is what it. I don't really like IG as a consumer. Okay, I liked booties, and then I realized, why am I looking at booties? This is a waste of my fucking time. And I unfollowed anything that wasn't related to music because it's useful to message people. Instagram Messenger is a valuable commodity in my life. I don't give a fuck about the Instagram timeline. I don't even go on it anymore. I'm not gonna lie. There's nothing there for me. Everybody I know is on Facebook, except for like 20-year-olds, and they just message me. They're all in their stories. So I check the stories, because that's where people do their update shit. So I don't even need to go to the timeline. If somebody has some dope shit going on, they're telling me in their stories. And then I can just go to Facebook to talk to people back where there's text and words, where I like it and it's comfy, because I'm not good with images and visuals. But stories is it, man. It lets me skip the whole instant experience. DMs, and then the shit I post, and then I react, and then I go, ooh, I get hearts. And I don't know. I mean, it's like, okay, I like it way more than I'm supposed to. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm getting hearts, and it's fun. Like when Big Zoo fucking hearts your shit.
Yeah, that's what you.
It's like, yo.
That's what you gotta watch. It's like that like addiction to the engagement too. It's like something that you really
not
see.
Addicted.
It changes people's psyche. You know what I'm saying? Like you see people when they start posting more and getting more and more love, like they start rearranging their whole psyche to accommodate an algorithm, you know, if you're not careful, that is, you know, it could really it could really fuck you up. And then you see those people like they live here now. Like this is where they live. Like you can't hang out with them anymore in public because they're gonna make it into a whole thing. And it's like, I don't really want to be on camera right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That was my fault, y'all. I had gotten a delivery at the door. What I was saying was, I don't know, IG just isn't my cup of tea. I enjoy Facebook more because of the engagement. Like, I like reading the things that people have to say, whether they be short or long. And I enjoy the engagement, like talking with people back and forth. So like Precious, Gorgeous, people like Baxter,
so interesting.
like everybody.
Baxter, shout out if he's still here. Baxter makes some.
At La Mesa, shout out Viva La Mesa. You know what I mean? Everybody at La Mesa,
Viva La Mesa,
added because of the fact that like they're really interesting people on Facebook, just like written type words. You know what I mean? And so I just like engaging with people, which is why I think that I like Clubhouse so much. Out of all, like, none of those other apps that came along really made me gravitate towards them, because Twitter, like, you had a limit on what you have to say, and Instagram, it's just pictures. Snapchat was mostly video. Like, I don't know, I just did not find any of that like content engaging. I like Clubhouse and Facebook because of engaging with people.
So here's the thing. I thought a lot about Clubhouse, and I don't think I'd ever use it because I don't know where it would ever fit into my fucking life where I'm going to sit there and listen to people talk. I fuck with Facebook because it's so reading and tech. I also fuck with Twitter because it's so reading centric. I'm not going to lie. I fucking check trending almost every day now because there's so much good shit that you're going to get random news on. Like, all that. Did you know shit? Yo, it's all trending on Twitter. If you ever want to be in the know on relevant random topics, just follow fucking Twitter. And then if you're not in America, flip to American Twitter trending because it's different than wherever the fuck you're at. No, it's true. I had to do this for work.
That's funny.
I had to watch it for work for a minute because my boss was trying to get us to somehow leverage COVID into a campaign. And so I had to like watch, and you know, it's crazy, but I got hooked on trending. It's so interesting. And then you just see random people saying random, but it's all text for them. I mean, yeah, there's memes and pictures and shit, but I'm attracted to anything text and reading driven. That's my platform shit.
Right. Everybody got their own kind of, you know, but Twitter has actually been how I've been keeping up with everything that's been going on in Austin, especially, but in Texas with the blackouts and the power outage. I was following Austin Energy and ERCOT, and I'm like seeing them post updates. It was terrible because I'm like looking at them but I'm seeing everybody's reactions, and it's so many tweets to them from all over, and everybody's giving up their zip code and everything. So I can only imagine how many people didn't tweet to them, you know. But it was a lot of people really like sharing their stories, and I'm like, damn, like. That made me like Twitter a little bit more too.
I mean, I think it gets a bad rep.
Definitely positive.
It gets a bad rep because of how
it's a tool. It's how you use it.
It's
you know what I'm saying? If you follow bullshit
to use it, though, that's why I was gonna go with that.
Yeah.
Because check it. Most people that aren't on Twitter only encounter Twitter on some article clickbait shit. So all they see is these savage random tweets. But what people don't realize is those tweets are literally fucking hard to find. I have tried to look shit up on Twitter to understand what the fuck a person's. You have to dig. You have to be good at, like, yo, it's like most of my Twitter is innocuous nothing. It's just, and actually, I follow people that I like, and they say smart shit, and I learn here and there. I know that there's some random beat maker that's doing some big thing. Like, yo, it's just random shit. Plus, it's the best place to find out what your favorite celebrities are up to if you don't like Instagram.
I definitely use Twitter for exactly that, like as a tool. Like when I got the Bronx Borough president to fix the light pole or the leaning tower piece of pole in my neighborhood that was there for like 3 weeks, and they just put like caution tape around it, like that would save people if like it actually fell on an older lady or something. But immediately I go to Twitter with it, and immediately action gets put behind it because nobody wants to look bad on Twitter. So I use Twitter for the tool of like putting pressure on people in the right way. You know what I mean? But that's it. Like, and same thing with Instagram. Like I use it as the tool it is to network with the music, but it's not like I really spend a lot of time on there like perusing any of the content that's really on there. Like I go I like all the people who I'm following stuff, and I post my shit, and then like I go and check the comments, reply to people.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Twitter understands me better than I would like to admit sometimes. It's got about a 50%. So I'm saying it recommends you, because Twitter's random, right? It'll be like, so-and-so did such a thing. And you go click on that shit, and you're like, I don't give a fuck. But the other half the time, I do give a fuck. Like, it tells me, like, every third tweet from, like, Conway the Machine for some reason. I mean, I fuck with Griselda, so I'm okay with that. But, like, it does this random shit that makes me go back to the site, and it's good, and I'm interested 50% of the time. So, I mean...
Let me tell you something. My Instagram Explore page does not... I don't know how that algorithm is what my Explore page is. But because it's my Explore page, I do look at it, so I probably feed the algorithm. But my Explore page is literally nothing but food. I don't even follow that many food accounts. I'm not like a foodie person on Instagram, but when I look at my Explore page, look at this.
That's amazing.
Look at that. It's all food. It's like, hold on, let me get this light right. It's all like...
Yeah. So Facebook gets data.
Crab legs, mad fucking burgers, butter. Like, why is this my Explore page?
So
look at this shit.
My theory on that shit is that...
Like, that's crazy.
So you know all those sites on the internet? So here's how Facebook actually gets your data. They don't get it direct no more. So they can't touch your shit directly, but all those websites on the internet, anything that has a Facebook login option... Whenever you do shit on those sites, it gets linked back to Facebook. So they use these like third-party proxies to funnel information back to that data pool that's doing it. So it might just be that you like food shit other places, and Facebook is able to know that you're...
I don't.
Man, that's crazy. That's fucking nuts.
I don't. Instagram is the only place I look at pictures. Facebook, I look at what my friends post.
Maybe your friends like food
I'm not
shit.
even like a...
And they're trying to like force it down.
I don't know, but my whole Explore page is food. It's like cheese being pulled apart. It's chili being on a hot dog. It's not just any kind of food. It's like crazy heavy crab legs being cracked open and dipped in lemon butter. Like, it's like, yeah, this is fire. And like, I like it now. Like, now that it's been on my Explore page for so long that now it's what I look at when I'm on Instagram. Just like mad food. It like... The algorithm worked backwards on me because I followed it. Like,
that's really
it didn't
huge.
catch me. I caught it. It's crazy.
It's like somewhere along the way it decided not. She really likes food. She doesn't know it yet.
Right.
Because, yo, what they do is they have like...
Because when you think about it, it's like I don't follow that many restaurants. Most of my friends are in rap, hip-hop, music, industry, whatever the fuck. So... why is there no rap on my Explore page? Like, there's nothing hip-hop related at all. It's just food.
Like Facebook knows so much more about us than we know about ourselves, right? Like, they got like 1,000 data points. Like, Facebook knows you to a... So what Facebook knows is our souls. Like, Facebook... I can't lie to Facebook. I try. It knows what I want to see, and it shows it to me. And I try to act like it's not what I want to see. But I think it just knows us in some weird level. I'm guessing.
It's like, this is for you.
And really, and what's crazy?
You see this? You see this? You see this? I feel like it's instigating a fight between me and, because it's like, this is such an egocentric time. Like, before, you wouldn't know these things or intimate opinions or whatever about people that you knew, like, on some acquaintance shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't care to know those things, and maybe if you met them and became closer with them, you would find them out, whatever, but it wasn't, like, something that you would just know about everybody.
You know what happened?
And now we all do.
No, I stopped caring about that shit. I realized along the way, I was fake caring about that shit. And I decided I don't want to fake care about stuff. Listen, if we're in a DM, we're probably going to have a conversation like that, maybe, because we're friends in some way. And those are the things I'm going to remember and care about because we took time. Like, even happy birthdays. I don't post my happy birthday publicly. I send you a direct message. Because, like, why am I doing this publicly on a whole fucking wall with all these people? You know what I don't like? 98 notifications on my birthday. Like, it's weird to me, actually. It's like, it's like I have to not check my phone. And then I have to thank all these people like I'm a customer service agent. Which is literally, and I'm not hating it. I love the fact that people want to like wish me happy, but it's like, How did I end up sitting there for 15 minutes on my birthday saying thank you in innovative ways? That's like, what? I don't know. That's like, I don't.
That's why I don't have my birthday like listed on Facebook, because I don't want like fake, like people are very like, like, oh, Facebook let me know it's your birthday, so I'm going to wish you happy birthday. And I'm just like, well, if you didn't know before Facebook existed when my birthday was, like, what does it really matter, bro? Like, to me, I don't care for the notifications from that. So I just don't have my birthday posted. And now you won't even ever wish me a happy birthday unless I say so. And even then, it doesn't give the opportunity to everybody that doesn't care, right? So like, if you don't follow me, like because you don't like me, you don't like my content or what I post on Facebook, then you're not gonna see when I do post on my birthday, yo, it's my birthday, you know what I mean? And then people might stop by and be like, oh, happy birthday, if they know me and they cool me. But it just takes kind of like that away, and takes away that opportunity for the extra notifications, which I'm just not keen on, period. Like, I don't like the likes. Like, I don't count likes. I don't care about likes. I don't care. If I'm posting something that I care about to be shared and people share it, cool. Super appreciate that, because now you're spreading the word of whatever it is that I'm sharing. But really what I care about, like I said, was like the comments. So like, I like engaging with people. So like, I care to like know what people got to say about something, especially if it's something that I'm like asking people about. Or like talking about.
I love the comments. I will spend 20, 30 minutes in times I shouldn't engaging in comment sections and writing really long, elaborate answers if somebody takes the time to write anything in my comment section. I'm not going to lie. I've tried to answer every YouTube comment I've ever gotten within reason. Sometimes it's like, what the fuck do I say to that?
And that's good. That's good, because that raises your engagement anyway.
But it's more.
Well, if we're talking about birthdays is a different thing. But I'm talking about like YouTube videos, posting, Instagram.
Birthdays is like the time of year where
birthdays I like to do the thank y'all everybody, man. That's what's up. No, like I look at it as like a card that everybody gives you together that they all signed on your wall, and you're like, yo, thank you everybody for this card.
Nah, I answer all of them. I did all. I know maybe I don't have to. I can't help it.
I've done it before too, especially when it's like a real personalized message, you know what I'm saying, on your wall, like I'm gonna reply to it. But if you hit me with the HBD, I don't even know if you're gonna get a like. You know what I'm saying? Don't hit me with the HBD. You know what I'm saying? Like, HBD. Don't hit me, because why take your time out for the HBD? You know what I'm saying?
HBD, it's pointless. Nobody cares.
You hit me with the HBD, you get SMD.
You just showed me how little you care on my birthday. So
right.
On my day of the year, you came up to me and you digitally smacked me on my face, fam. Like, what?
Yeah, I try to like send
HBD, you fucking stupid. Like,
so all I try to do with it now is I give a compliment to somebody. I'm figure, you know what? I don't have any money to buy you shit, but I can say something really like spot on kind about you. So I go,
make somebody feel special.
Here's how you impacted my life positively, and it's in the DMs. I don't want people to fucking know. I'm not looking for no attention from it. Don't even fucking tell people. It's just our little moment. Let's dip out, have a great life. I'm not going to talk to you till our next birthday moment again anyway.
Oh, shit.
Nah, but like sometimes you just like end up in these
moments.
Good. But that's what it is. It's I know I'm callous. I really am, and people like maybe sometimes don't like it, but like this is the truth. I mean, some people I talk to and I see them, and I'm like, yo, we were like cool 6 years ago. We say happy birthday once a year. That's our whole relationship, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And you're clearly okay with that because neither of us made that effort to do fuck all. Yo, how many times do you have that conversation? Yo, I miss XYZ. Let's catch up and do this XY. And I'm like, bro, I don't do those things anymore. And he doesn't want to do the things I do no more. And it's like, that's okay. That's just fine. Yeah. We just.
I don't even say that anymore.
Yeah, I don't. We don't.
Especially not in the.
I think,
well, I'm more like saying it in the sense of
about like LA, right? Like in LA, that's like a whole thing. That's a part of the culture. Is like, you know, like, let's do lunch, and then you never see the person again.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just known, like, people are just like, that's just how things are. Like in New York, it's super not like that. Like, you do catch up.
You know, sometimes I have been fake in situations where I'll be like, "Yo," but when it not really fake, but like I do want to make plans, but I'll say it like this week. I'll be like, "Yeah, let's fucking do lunch this week," and then they'll hit me up this week, and I'll be like, this week is kind of busy.
Yo, here's the thing.
This week is crazy.
I just stopped sugarcoating. I'm like, yo, like my guy's like, let's go to a bar and get drinks. I'm like, I haven't drank in a bar. Like, I don't drink like that. Like, it's just not my life. It's not appealing. You want to come through and smoke a joint because that's the only thing my life allows? Come through and smoke a joint. I'm always happy to let anybody come through and do that. But I'm in front of my computer streaming like 7 days a week. What the fuck am I going to a bar for? My life isn't going to, oh, bro, it's too... Then they disappear. And I'm like, all right, that's what it is. And I don't, like, take malice in that. I don't really know that I would go to your crib if I could. It's like, you know what I realized? I have a lot more acquaintances than like people that are like actually friends, and a realization I've had lately, like, and a lot of it's Flacco. I would say Flacco's a friend, like the kind of friend that you pray you find in life. And like seeing that made me reevaluate everything. It made me reevaluate a whole bunch of shit. And I'm like, I had to actually like do a little breakup with somebody where I'm like, I don't really think you're a friend of mine. I think you're like, you have this image of me and you're friends with that shit. That's like, you're a fan. You're not really a friend. And it was weird because like I wanted to be friends with him, but like he didn't like me. He liked the shit I put on the internet. And that's not me. Like, that's not off camera me, you know, like that's not like we're friends. That's not like when my hair's down and I'm like crying and shit. Cause yo, I'm a sensitive fucking soul, my guy. Oh my gosh, my girlfriend said don't say that.
I got that from Battle Rap.
That's fucking hilarious, but dope and real as fuck to say, you don't fucking know me when my hair's down and I'm crying and shit. Like, yo, you know? Cause that's deep, you know what I'm saying? And it made me think, like, none of, like, the people that we haven't met in person, we only know each other on camera, technically. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the crazy shit, too, because it's like we've really been in the Zoom, like, you know, living life. Like, y'all see me fucking cook, play video games, whatever, chilling, but it's still on camera, even if you're not acting or putting on any show. And
it's facts.
Speaking about
chip crumbs falling on my face, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all see that?
Speaking about, like, losing Vice, you know, and, like, I learned with losing... when I lost Rob De Niro, like, it just hit close enough that it just hurt extra hard. And like with that one, like I like had a determination where I was just like, yo, I'm not gonna like not catch up with my friends. Life is short. I gotta catch up with people as much as I possibly can. And like I'm even gonna put in an effort to link up with people on the internet that I might not have linked up with before or even put in the effort to. So like I'll make the effort to like do a Vegas trip so that we can link up with the homies from Cali, and I'll like arrange that me and the wife go for the honeymoon in Montreal, where I just so happen to know a few people off the internet, you know what I mean? And like link up and like meet in real life, because I'm like about this real life meeting up action. Like I'm like, this is me online, offline. This is me. Dama, you know me. You know what I mean? Like you can testify, you know, like it's me, you know? So it's just like, that's like an effort that I put forth because of losing the homies and being like, yo, life is so short, yo. Like we really like, you got to put in an effort to really try to like link up with people.
I'm gonna be real though, like this whole like work from home thing changed my life in a very significant way I wasn't expecting. I had this like general dislike of the culture that my colleagues are a part of that I do not share. So it's not that I dislike them, but they all agree to these norms and belief systems that I don't necessarily fully subscribe to in the way that I live my life. And it's complicated to be around a bunch of people that you can't connect with in any kind of real way. Your lives aren't the same and shit. And it made me realize that a lot of these people that I thought were friends due to proximity, right? Like, because I was with these people. When you're at work 40 hours a week, they're like literally family in a sense, because you spend so much fucking... And I've been at this place since I'm fucking 22, right? So like, I don't even have outside. Like, it's just what this company is all I know, right? And then I went home. And all of a sudden, I had time to like really think about the connections and the people. Because now you have to make that effort to Skype a motherfucker. Like, you have to be wanting to have a conversation past morning, because it could go past morning. Because, good morning is fine. But sometimes they go, then you got to start thinking like that. Who do I actually want to sit there and have a real conversation with in a text format at work, cutting into me getting my objectives done and leaving early and shit? Not to say I leave early a lot, but like, if you get your shit done and work through lunch, nobody gonna see you. So,
right. Yo, Flacco, you out?
Yeah.
Yeah, the nightmare came true. Me and Holden spoke about this. I have an interview that I got to do on IG at 10, and I was just like, man, fuck, I don't know, Dama fam, like, I know what it is. Like, I know that we can
keep it. Well, let's wrap it up and cause it's been 3 hours, man. We giving them a lot of sauce right now. No, we're giving away too much game. We're giving away too much game.
It's been 3.5 hours.
Yo, I want to
crazy
real quick because I gotta jump, right? But like, I just wanted to give you my flowers and tell you, like, yo, like, my respect level, right? Like, my love is there for you as my sister, and I think that that. I think that I've tried to do a good job of like letting you know that. So I hope that you know that, right? But I want you to know that like my respect for you as an artist is through the roof. You know what I mean? And that's like, I mean, I'm nobody special or anything like that, right?
Yes, you are. Come on.
You're very special to me, Flacco.
Like, it's not like I'm like that about everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, it's very rare that I am like that to the artist homies that I know. Because like I'm like your homies from back in the days, like but Kanye West though, you know what I mean? Like this is what we're competing with, guys.
Right.
What are we doing here?
Right. Right.
So
facts.
So, like,
facts.
I hate giving fake kudos, and so I don't give kudos, and I just leave it be. But like, I want to give you your kudos on a respect level because I respect your art so much.
Yo, your art's
and
thank you so much, bro.
Thank you for allowing me in your life. Thank you for allowing me to be your bro. And like, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I love you, bro. Thank you, man.
Yo,
it's been a blessing, man.
Yeah, and Dama, for real though, I know he's gotta go. We definitely do have to wrap it up proper though. We can't just jump off the call like that. For
sure.
No, but on that note, you are that incredible. Like, this is one of my favorites. I know I'm supposed to say that to everyone, but like, I do keep track of the ones I really, really like. Like, Sammy C's was very memorable when I did an interview with her. She was one of the people I spoke to. She walked around. She was all over, high energy. It was an experience comparable to what I'll Be Back did, actually. It was fucking cool to be able to put her in that category. And then you're here with that humble shit, like Iron Solomon, like, I'm not anything special for like 3.5 hours, which is boss shit. You a boss. You just convinced me how gangster you are for real, because that's some like, listen, I've talked to what real money looks like, and that's some real money shit that you're talking right now, and I respect that at a deep level,
Oof, I appreciate that.
It's just what it is,
that's
though.
Dope.
That's what makes you want to, like, I hype that shit up. If you go check my Facebook and really go check how much I hype up people, not everybody gets as much shit that I say like I did about your one. I just do a lot of them, so you'll see it real quick. Okay, yeah, he's not full of shit.
Definitely.
But like, nah, for real, like, it was really great to have you. A lot of people stuck around for a long time, because as much as I can say that number basically only dropped under 10 on my side after you said we're gonna wrap it up. It stayed above 10 the whole time. That's 3.5 hours.
Damn, that's sick.
That's people who say Dama's that interesting. Dama's that cool. That's not like me. And Flacco's one of the people that just did. Fair enough. But like, like, but that's just all these sincere audience here that were just fucking with what you were saying. Like, my girlfriend was fucking with you. She doesn't comment that much on everybody. It is what it is.
That's what's up, yo. Yeah, shout out to your girl, man. That's dope. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Like, it's it's been fun for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop your Insta right quick. All your links are gonna be in the description of everything, right? So everybody's gonna be able to find you, no problem.
Yes, please.
And they all like,
please follow me. I'll follow everybody back.
And for real though, it was such a pleasure to have you. Honestly, You are inspiring. You have inspired me off camera already. You might not know how much you have, but you have, for real. You're one of those people where I'm like, would Dama be mad at me if I thought this way? Right? 'Cause I had
Wow.
if you think about that conversation we had, you can feel like why the context of why I would say that and how it's a real statement. Would Dama be upset if I thought this way? Has been in my head ever since that. Because, I'm going to argue like a motherfucker, but I listen well. But for real, though, you're very impactful, and people should know who you are, and people should fucking, like, dig your shit. And that's all I'm saying. You're a real artist. I can't put you in a box because you're too big for a box. No, not a bad way. You're not supposed to call people big. I got in trouble once for that. Anyway.
It's all good.
But chill. Thank you
again.
Thank
you, bro. It's been a real pleasure, man. You're great at what you do. You're a great interviewer, man. This is an amazing show. So I couldn't wait to get on here and talk about it. Everybody get For Your Love right now in stores on your Vivo, YouTube, all of that.
Dope,
yeah, I'm very happy about this. Very dope.
Yeah, it's that dope though. It's gonna go up, and you're gonna end up having legacies and shit. Cause the best part about it is we got 20, 30 years left. It's just that simple. That's forever. You know what I'm saying? But more important than us. Thank all of y'all watching, right? Because part of why we go this long is because y'all make it a show. It's not just an interview. It's a show in the conventional sense of an audience that's interactive, and we can I don't know if you see chats, but there's definitely a chat on the Zoom that's been popping up. There's Twitches. There's probably Facebooks. There's people everywhere watching this shit right now. It's just fucking incredible. And honestly, it goes up slowly over time, which makes it more incredible. It makes me feel more enthused about all of this. And it's like y'all watching are the people that make that community grow. It's not really us. It's everybody that's like there. That even Dama, when Dama was showing love before she came through, that's what makes it twice as special that Dama's here. Because it wasn't just like some random person coming through going, what's up, what's up. It's somebody that was enthusiastically looking forward to it, knowing what the fuck it was. You know what that does to me? Shit, it makes me ready to bring the A game shit, like we going in. So it's just a beautiful thing. And all of you watching, it makes it extra beautiful. And for the people watching in the futures and stuff, make sure to follow everybody at EOW TV on all the platforms for the end of the week stuff. You can follow me on all that behind that suit shit. That would be real lovely of y'all. Honestly, it's great to have you here. And I guess, do you have any last words you would like to say to people before we part ways with the audience?
Yeah, anybody that's watching that's in Austin, mainly in Austin, Texas, and you're still in the struggle and you need some help with some water or food or whatever, hit me up in my DMs, and I'll direct you at least to somebody that could definitely help you out. So, good luck to everybody. I'm praying, I'm hoping that this, thing is over soon and everybody could be comfortable in their homes.
I appreciate where your heart and soul went with that. After everything, fuck that. We got to make sure this gets taken care of, right? And so, I'm going to be ending my part of the live in about 15 seconds. On my end, I initiated a raid, which means I'm taking my Twitch audience to another channel, which is why Twitch is fucking dope. And then I know on the other side, end of the week is going to end their shit. So